say he should do to say he's done it all.
He won that championship. That was it.
Everything. He's done everything. He's scored a lot of assists.
The only thing that can cap off his career is becoming Mr. Basketball.
So why is it that when I watch the Wild and Odom, do I feel like he's the best player? Every time I watch the Wild and Odom play, I feel like I'm seeing something special. Like I'm seeing something that I'm not gonna maybe not see again. Said that for a long time, BJ Boston was my favorite high school player in Georgia. I don't get that feeling that I'm seeing something I'll never see again.
Mondre, you muted.
I just ain't gonna get shit right today. That's what type of day this shit's about to be. I ain't gonna get shit right today. I just want everybody to know that's listening right now that it's not gonna happen. The light's gonna go out. I'm gonna cuss too many times on here. We're gonna get canceled. Like everything is about to go wrong today. But I think we're used to that. Let's adjust. It's the Love of the Game podcast. I'm your host, Mondre Allen. If I come in extra like I planned to come in extra after I messed up the first time, does that shit even count? Like, are we keeping the score? I don't know. I could give y'all the same intro that I was about to give y'all after I fucked up the first one.
Go.
Go. Y'all know what time it is, though. Y'all know what we do on Sundays. It's Sucker Free Sunday. We don't bring y'all no suckers ever because there are no suckers in our circle. But it's definitely Sucker Free Sundays. So we definitely getting down. Oh shit. There we go. We already in here. AC Georgia represented in the house. I see y'all. As always, every guest that we bring y'all on Sunday is the truth. We don't play around. We don't mess around. We don't pull no punches. We don't cut no corners because it's Sucker Free Sunday. And this Sunday, we have the assistant coach from Arkansas Little Rock, but a man that has history in our city, in our area, that can speak on things that are going on in our area. Man, we got the assistant coach from Arkansas Little Rock, Alfred Jordan. Coach Jordan, what's good?
Not much. First and foremost, I want to say thank you guys for having me. And I'm kind of mad after I saw the little previews on the in-studio version. When things get back to normal, I definitely want to pull up and sit on the couch and talk with y'all. But, I definitely appreciate you guys. Coach Huff, he's been showing me love ever since I met him. And I remember I did my last little Zoom thing, and I met you, Dre, and everything been 100 since then. And I love the relationship that I get to build with you guys, and then the network that I'm starting to become a part of. The last time I got off of Corey Black's event, my inbox went crazy, and I got the chance to connect with a lot of people. And I know what you guys have been doing, and it's all about networking and making sure that I network with the right people. And Coach Huff, man, I love what he's been doing for me, and for him to reach out to me, I feel honored.
No doubt. Hey, man, if Coach Huff give you the stamp of approval, man, that's kind of how it works around here, man.
Yeah, I heard he is Mr. Georgia. I heard he Mr. Georgia, so
there y'all go.
So
the good governor, man. That's our governor.
Hey, the episode of Fresh Prince when I'm about to say something crazy too. It might not be that crazy. When Will handed Carlson his dictionary,
the black book.
Book.
Yeah.
That's like Huff. Like if we ever got to reach in and get Huff's phone, that'd be the equivalent of that. Like,
man,
he got context in there that's like, oh.
Hey, the answer real quick too. Like, we already had we had Dez on here saying that if the person you're rolling with can't change your situation with one or two phone calls, I don't know if there's a number that Huff don't got. Is Coach K in there, Huff? I'm about to put Huff on blast. Is Coach K in your phone, Huff?
He's in there, yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Okay. Pat,
wow.
Have you had communications with him though?
Not lately. I mean, I don't just.
Yeah, at one.
Yeah.
One. Well,
I mean, yeah.
damn. That's like some Barack Obama drop the mic shit.
Coach K is in the phone, Huff. All right.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I'll tell you what though, if Huff don't start using his connections to start getting me some practice gear, some shorts. Now, if I don't get no shorts and no t-shirts, Huff, what good is it, bro?
There's some dude that just keep inboxing me talking about I want to help you out with these jerseys. Y'all keep getting that little thing on Instagram. Do y'all get that?
Oh, hey, them the people from overseas. The Indian. No, they working. They working. Yeah. Man, shout out to them too. All the overseas dudes trying to create jerseys. You know, they got a big clothing district or whatever in Pakistan. That's where a lot of AAU programs get their jerseys from. Y'all official dudes, y'all got money and budgets and all that shit. Y'all ain't got to worry about these AAU struggles and all that shit, man. Like, what do y'all
got my jerseys out in Rome? That was still far. It was almost like going there.
What company did you use, Bryce?
I don't know. They were good though. Those green ones, I got the Nike ones. I don't remember what company what the call.
Was it Orange Sporting Good? Because they out of Rome. It
was like a store, like a sporting goods store out there, and they did them for me. I can't remember.
It might have been them.
Yeah, it probly was. Like it was like downtown.
I just know you elevated when you decided to go to Nike jerseys. That's what I know.
Woo! That definitely helped your boy out.
I know you elevated.
And when they played like trash, I put them back in them old schools.
When you were a poor independent program like what we run at Georgia Man Up, we don't have no, you know what I'm saying?
It's a struggle.
Hey, Bryce, I understand. One time at St. Francis, they weren't playing right. We went back to them old jerseys. They were real thick. They had to play in them joints, man. They were mad at me.
Wait, Huff, you went back to the old fabric joints?
Yeah, they were the old jerseys, man. They were playing like crap. I said, man, y'all don't deserve this new stuff. Put all that down.
Hey, Coach, y'all ever do it in college? Y'all taking the sweatsuits and all the gear away if they ain't playing good? Y'all do that in college, Coach?
We probably get new shipments of things and we'd just hold off before we give it out. But we never really had situations where we gave guys things and took it back. But I do remember one time early in my career, I'll never forget this. We was about to play against Kentucky State, and I was under Coach Darryl Jacobs. And I forgot what our guys did in the shoot around or warm-ups, but he had the guys actually go out in the layup lines with our practice gear on. And, you know, the guys is warming up in the practice gear, so you know at an HBCU, if you come half stepping, you're going to hear about it. Kentucky State, they was letting our guys have it. And I was like, man, is Coach Jacobs really going, you know, have us go through this for a whole game? But, you know, when the guys came back in to talk, we gave them back their regular uniforms. And we actually went in and we won the game. But it would have been a whole lot different if we would have lost that bus ride back from Kentucky to Atlanta.
Oh, yeah.
Sheesh.
Hey, sometimes you gotta make a statement now, Dre.
Got to figure out how to motivate these young whippersnappers nowadays. That's why I call them these young Thundercats.
We played in practice jerseys a couple tournaments too, but that was just because our real ones hadn't come yet. But shit, I don't care.
Hey, B don't be playing, dog.
Let me tell you who was on that. Nah, I don't. But let me tell you who was on that team that played in those practice jerseys. Marcus Foster, Naheem, who's at Virginia Tech. Tay Watson played in those practice jerseys. He's at Upstate. CJ, who was at UMass last year. So 5 Division I kids played. No, and Boo Man, who's at Presbyterian. So 5 or 6 Division I kids played in practice jerseys, and they didn't say nothing.
Well, that must be a good recipe. You may want to stick to that. If whoever else is watching, you know, we might want to just purchase just some practice gear going forward.
Some reversible practice gear.
One side was orange and one side was black. Kept it moving.
Hey, matter of fact, y'all might still have some magic left in them jerseys, Bryce. Let me get those. We'll just change the logo, man.
Hey, Georgia Man Up will become y'all feeder program.
I gotta see how y'all inbox be looking, because I know how y'all inbox be doing sometimes when kids DM you and then they might DM me. So it depends.
I feel fortunate. When that happens, that makes me feel like I'm doing something right.
Yeah.
I found out that they slid in. Wait, they slid in y'all inbox too? Oh shit. I feel like I moved up a tier.
Hey, whatever works, man. We'll see. Mm-hmm.
Hey, we Oh wait, Hugs took all of Cincinnati's gear one year. I know Statesboro keep
See that. I can see that. Yeah.
My guy Keith LeGree. I'm gonna have to call him. And see what if that's true. I'm gonna call him, Garrett.
You have Keith LeGree's phone number, Huff?
Yeah, he used to be on the staff at Texas Southern.
That's the shit I'm talking about.
Yep.
Hey, you have all of these Louisville Cardinal greats phone numbers. Huff, what Huff? Huff, what? Hey, Huff was holding out that he knew Everett Sullivan from me. He knows how big of a Louisville Cardinal fan I am, and Huff holding out that he knew Everett Sullivan, dog. That's dirty.
Hey, Coach Price, I'm holding out.
Huff holding out, bro.
That's tough.
You said you got Coach K on your phone, so I can't.
Yeah.
That's different. That's different. That's
and
different.
I'm not saying that Coach K would come on here, but
Hey, so
we ain't got that much pull now.
I'll tell you a nickname, Huff. Huff, we never called him Keith LeGree.
What y'all call him?
Keith LeThree. He was Keith LeThree.
Hey man, I'm finna text him now, right?
Huff holding out, bro. He should have been on the show. What do you like? No, I'm a Louisville Cardinal stan. What's wrong with Huff? So fellas, as soon as I feel like the anger is starting to subside and I'm starting not to be so pissed off, we go like, we don't even get to make it a weekend without having to deal with another brother laying in the street.
But, you know, it's unfortunate, clearly, obviously, but that's what we've been dealing with, you know, and it's now finally coming to light, like, because we have phones, we have all these cameras around. Now people are they're seeing what we've been crying for and yelling and saying that how you were treating people of color. Like, we've been telling you, dude, like, we've been getting pulled over. And as soon as we get pulled over, they put their hand on their pistol.
I'm just tired of justification of what's right and wrong. Oh, he was doing this, so that doesn't make it right. He's a human being. Like I've had other people tell me, man, I was allowed to call somebody to come pick me up, and I pick up my keys from the police station the next day. So don't say it couldn't have been done. You know, it's
a situation that could have been de-escalated
in the beginning.
From the beginning. And now you have another black man who is dead, and his daughter's birthday was yesterday or today. You know, like, come on, man.
And what kind of threw me off was the order of the way that the videos were coming out and the way the story was told. You know, when I first heard the story and I seen the first video, I kind of tried to, on a cop's perspective, someone's running and they turn towards you. You know, it kind of looked bad. I said, you know, this may be one of those cases where we can't really win this one, and we can't be mad if things go differently.
Yep.
But you know, now this morning I seen a video of him, because I thought he was like in the actual drive-through line, holding up the process of the people getting their food, but he was actually parked up to the side, got out of the car, and he asked if he could just go ahead and walk home to his sister's house. I mean, and you know, I didn't understand what grounds were they even arresting this man on.
They showed the video of him have a conversation with the police officer, like you were saying, and they showed it out of order. We didn't see that at first, but exactly. Come on, man.
That's the thing that turned it for me too. There was conflicting information that came out originally that said that he was asleep in the drive-through and people were having to go around him. But it doesn't seem like that was the case, because the reports are saying that he was asleep in a parking spot.
Right.
It don't make sense.
Right. It doesn't make sense, Dre. Don't even try to.
Yeah, it's nothing you can do to even analyze it.
It's nothing. as I watch a man basically explain to the police officer that he was trying to do the responsible thing. Hey, which is what we tell people, that if you've had too much to drink, hey man, pull over, don't drive. Which it seems like that's what he decided to do. Like, hey man, nah, I'm gonna pull over and sleep this off, which is
right.
Now if you don't want
driving,
if you don't want the risk of him getting back in his vehicle and pulling off, okay, tow his car.
Yeah.
Tell him to walk home. Tell him to ride.
Say, listen, I mean, Bondre, you were on that call when we talked to some law enforcement officers. And he talked about how you can de-escalate, how they should talk to you. Why didn't these officers de-escalate and say, listen, if she lives right down the street, man, just hop in, man. We'll take you home, bro. Like,
yeah, don't drive. We're towing your car.
Yeah,
because I don't want you to drive. Or somebody else has to come get your car or whatever. Yeah.
And even although he was, go ahead. Even though he was, quote unquote drunk, from the video that I saw, and he was conversating with them, it looks like, he was at least in his right mind to know that he was drinking early in the day and that he shouldn't have been driving. And he wasn't being resistant to them when he was talking in conversation. He wasn't yelling, wasn't raising his voice. He was actually very calm. And I just didn't understand what were they exactly arresting him for. That's the question that I think everyone wants to know.
Is it a crime to sit in your car in a parked spot while you are intoxicated?
I don't know. I think when you talk
about, am I bothering somebody? Am I like?
So I'm gonna take it further. Like, okay, let's say it is. I don't know whether it is or not. I'm not privy to knowing every law or rule that's in the rule book or laws. But I do know that they say tasers are not a lethal weapon when they're using them. That's a fact. Right. I only go by facts.
That's what they say.
That's what they say.
That's what they say.
They had patted him down to know there were no other weapons there. So don't tell me just because he turned and shot the taser that was a threat.
I mean, and I think, Huff, that's the thing that I go back to. I'm old enough to remember before cell phones had cameras, before there were body cameras on police. The conversation was, in the moment, in a split second, this person could have a gun. This person could, shoot a police officer. You don't know that this person is not armed. That goes back to when they were shooting people who had wallets and cell phones in their hands, right? That's what was being said. I don't think that those officers can make that case, even though I heard people try to make it on Fox News when I listened to it, that in that split second that you thought you were going to die, that big yellow thing that he had in his hand in a well-lit parking lot I say well-lit because there's cell phone footage of the incident where you could see it clearly.
Clearly.
Very bright.
They're shooting it off of a cell phone, not some super low light DSLR camera. Like that's not what they're shooting from. They're shooting it from a cell phone, bro. So if the man can tell you, and on top of all of that, you give him a field test, and it looked like he was doing well on the field test. He wasn't falling all over himself and stumbling on the field test. He just didn't want to submit to the breathalyzer.
Yeah.
That's I don't know. It's tough.
Okay.
I received the message. I'm gonna be done with it after this, but I just received the message that said if the car is running and you are drunk, yes, it's illegal. But if you're parked and it's off, I guess it's not. And hopefully I said that right. But either way, like that's a situation that should have been de-escalated from the beginning. Like,
I mean, it just like the comments we have down here, it says they had his car, they had taken his ID, they knew his name. Even if he's running away, man, you know what? We'll catch that dude tomorrow. Well, he got to come back.
Exactly.
We can go to his house and pick him up. We can do whatever we need to do. We can get
exactly.
Man.
And then three times is excessive.
And shooting somebody
excessive.
Right. And if the reports are true that they picked up shell casings before
They
other
probably did.
people got there.
They probably did.
That's even another issue I got out. Like,
It's problematic, man. It's
yeah,
problematic.
And I bet you the body cam was cut off when that probably happened. They probably missed that part. It probably
Yeah.
was a glitch.
I think, to me, it was pretty safe to say, I feel like you decided to shoot that man. And I apologize for pausing, but it felt like my whole internet just shut down for like 3 seconds.
You got to a little bit.
Hey, we recovered, dog. I connected back to the Wi-Fi. We good. But I feel like when I first saw the video, I looked at it and was like,
Yep.
But you shot this man not out of a feeling of danger, not out of feeling like your life was being threatened. You shot him out of frustration. You were pissed off.
You were mad.
And I think that is what people have been trying to tell police, is that is part of chasing down suspects is a part of your job. You can't shoot somebody because chasing down a suspect pisses you off. Like, I understand he out wrestled you.
That's not why they were
take
pissed
off
off.
running. You're mad.
The running part wasn't why they were pissed off. Let's be real. Why they were pissed off? Because they
lost that hand-to-hand combat.
1 versus 2, they lost.
Yeah, they lost that hand-to-hand combat.
It's a sad situation, man. That's why we just gotta. I texted this to somebody earlier. I said, the sad part of where we are right now in this country, as Black men, we can comply and die, and we can resist and die, and it's still all the same. That's a problem.
That's scary.
Wow, so, that's probably the quote of the week for me.
Yeah.
When you bring up that meeting that we had, Huff, with those officers, one thing stands out to me, especially as I watch this situation. When the state trooper that we were talking to explained to us that I know if I need some overtime, then I need to make some more arrests. Because if I make more arrests, then I'm going to get overtime because I have to go to court. They have to pay me from the time I leave my house to drive to the courthouse to handle the court proceedings, and then they have to pay me all the way home. That's what the officer said.
He did.
Wow. If you need
I'm not making that up. I'm not changing his. I feel like I'm repeating it almost word for word.
You are.
That's
crazy.
If you're incentivized
to
make arrest, then you're not necessarily incentivized to do the right thing in Rashad Brooks' situation.
And then
you're not incentivized to say, hey, you're getting a citation, don't drive, we're towing your car, walk home, or I'm standing here until somebody picks you up, or I'm going to drive you back to your sister's house. You're not incentivized to do any of the things that we felt like a public servant should do.
Well, Dre, I'm gonna take it even further from that conversation. Remember, he talked about that there are certain counties, I don't know how you want to say it, counties, police departments that are accredited. I think that was the word he said. And if they are accredited, they get these tactics that they are to use to de-escalate situations. And Atlanta PD was accredited, so they've been through these tactics to de-escalate situations, and obviously it was not handled that way. So that's another thing I thought about when you want to talk about that conversation. Like,
and if you are, and this I may be saying this all wrong too. If you're in an area where you feel like you can't police, don't police. If I'm in an area where I feel like I'm personally scared to be in, I'm probably not gonna go.
That's another thing when we talk about local policing, and that all goes back to the conversation when you say defunding the police and all that. My thought was, Huff, when we were talking about to those officers and they were talking about being a high contact officer, I make this many contacts, this many contacts.
Yeah.
instead of pulling people over and putting people in that position, I would love for you to be high contact in the community. Like, stop by my grandmother's house, be high contact, let her know your presence is there. Like, these old folks in the neighborhood should feel safe. They're going to tell you what's going on their block.
Or remember what I said even on that call, Dre. I said, what happened to police officers and judges and everybody going into the schools and talking to these kids?
100%.
That was when I grew up. I remember that kind of stuff. And I've been teaching for a minute now, and I haven't, and I could be wrong. Somebody could come on to this chat and say, nah, coach, they still doing that. I haven't seen it. I worked in inner city, I worked in private school, I worked in rural, and I worked at college. So I done seen it through every aspect.
On what would you say again? Having police officers come by and visit?
There used to be officer friendly.
Yeah.
They work in the schools like this.
I'm not talking about the ones that work in the school. They see them every day. They probably have some conversations with them.
Nah, they're not coming.
That's a problem to me.
Nah.
Because let's think about it. If you as a black kid that we coach, and all we're seeing is stuff that's going on in the news, if you've never had a conversation with a police officer, then now every time you see one, there's a bad taste in your mouth. So how do you change that? How do you change that? You have to build relationships. We talk about coaches building relationships with players. Well, police officers have to build relationships with the community, just like Dre's saying. It has to be done. And you can't. Go ahead, Coach.
And with all the funding that goes into these police departments, I think it should be more community engagement events where police get to interact with the youth and the youth get to see, there's plenty of videos you may see on social media with a police officer in full uniform pulling up to a basketball court and playing basketball with the kids for a brief second. And that's the type of things that have to go on. If the only time the young kids coming up right now turn on it and see police is them killing people, arresting them, and everything being violent, their minds are just trained to it. Opposed to if you have police coming in and teaching these guys while they're young and these females while they're young, this is the proper way you interact with police when you get pulled over. If they never bridge that gap, it's just going to get worse as the years continue to go on.
Yeah. And I agree. I think, yes, we've got to get those police officers in. And I mean, even though right now I'm probably like, man, is that going to even help? But we've also got to help our players of how to respond in situations. I mean, that's part of the change we've got to happen. Yeah, we can protest, we can vote, but we got to teach them how to interact, because if they haven't had any interaction with them, you're right. They're going.
The anxiety, though, that's the part that is hard for people to deal with, and even myself included. The anxiety of being pulled over, knowing like, shit,
am I gonna make it out?
Excuse my language, but if I cannot move, like for the next 20 minutes.
Yeah. And when and I think this comment is important when it says, well, some people listen to understand, but mostly only to respond. Those officers didn't listen to them. They already had their minds made up. To that, I agree. Like it's tough to be talking to a member of law enforcement and you're trying to calmly speak and make sense. And what they're not hearing you out at all. Their decision is already
made up. It's made up. Yeah. He's getting locked up tonight.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I use the analogy with one of my coaching friends who, we were going back and forth about what should have happened, what shouldn't. I said, do you treat every person on your basketball team the same? You don't. Let's be real. You don't. So you can't go into every situation and treat every stop as a police officer the same. So if they had went in understanding, okay, maybe the guy is drunk, but what can I do to de-escalate this situation? We're probably not having this conversation right now. I mean, to be real, we're probably not.
This is also showing us how important rec centers, rec coaches, places like that, how important it is for kids to go to as well. Because I mean, clearly that's keeping the kids from wherever. I mean, it starts there, in my opinion. You're saving kids' lives right there.
And to me, go ahead, Coach Jordan.
growing up in New York, I'm not sure here in Georgia. I haven't really seen it, but it used to be a league called the PAL League, which was the Police Athletic League. And, you know, growing up, I did see a lot of police officers involved and around those type of situations. And those are the type of situations they have to bring back, and they have to put the emphasis on those young kids that's going to after school centers and community centers. There's more than enough police walking around and driving out the day and not doing anything. You know, even if you make them go and stop by these rec leagues, boys and girls clubs for an hour a day, you know, just so kids can see a different side of them. And, you know, I think it's also good for police officers to know that area. If you're a cop and you're from Macon and they have you working in Atlanta, I think they should put you somewhere in Atlanta where you have to get to know the community first, because the way guys interact in Atlanta, I know by far is not the same way they may interact in Macon. And, you know, so if you're working in a location and you don't understand the people, you don't understand the language and current events that's going on in that area, you know, now you have basically two strangers looking at each other.
Facts.
100%. Makes it easy for bad judgments to be made, for bad interactions to happen. And I think the thing that I want to make sure that people don't miss is that when we look at these incidents, outside of Breonna Taylor, who was just completely minding her own damn business, she was at home in bed, where she was supposed to be. These interactions, we're not saying that these people shouldn't get citations.
Right.
We're not saying that, you know, that whatever crime is supposed to be committed, and I use that because with George Floyd, like, we could all receive counterfeit money and not know it. So if he took a counterfeit bill in that store, like, how many times have you had a store break a 20 or break, you know, a bill for you, and you just take whatever they give you and put it in your pocket? We don't know that they handed us counterfeit money. Like, he could easily receive a bill. Any of us, that could be any of us. Right. So we're not saying that people shouldn't get citations for that type of stuff, or be investigated, or have to go downtown to give a statement to the police to help them track down where the money is coming from. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying you shouldn't die from it.
Right.
Like, that shouldn't be your cause of death. And I don't understand what's so tough to understand about that. It feels like a point of you know what I mean, contention for some people.
It should just go back to what's right and wrong. And to me, that's what it stands for. Was it right or was it wrong? And if you can look at it through those lenses, regardless of who you are, then it could have been George Floyd or Robert Floyd. One could have been African-American, one could have been Caucasian. Whoever it was that it happened to, it was wrong. It just so happens that it happens to African-American men more so, or African-American people more so than everybody else. And that's not right. Again, so I'm adding up wrongs here that have to be changed.
It's definitely got to be fixed, and we're seeing it a little bit all over. You're seeing, like, the police officers in I believe it was Long Island that they basically interrupted a march and stopped in front of the guy to let him bump into him, and once he made contact, then they arrested him. Like, we're talking about, like, this stuff we're not talking about the gray line, right? So we're not talking about bang bang plays. We're not talking about, there's been a block charge that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Like,
it's
we're talking about
clear-cut flagrants.
Yeah, we're talking about flagrant stuff. We're talking about pushing down a 75-year-old man. That man is still in a hospital, by the way, in Buffalo, New York.
I mean,
and God bless the video, because they tried to say, you know, it was a small little nudge and he tripped. And, you know, that video to me was nothing short of a full out shove.
Yeah. Or even the fact, Dre, if you go look at, I mean, I think a lot of us follow Rex Chapman. You're talking about block charge.
Yeah.
What he put up today about an incident, which is, I mean, it's not a D, well, it is a D, it's similar. And that was a threat.
Facts. He beat them police all upside the head and everything. Yeah. Chased them. I saw one video where
he run him over with the car. Like,
It's wild. Yeah, it gets wild.
He walks away from it.
Yeah, but he walks away.
That's man, it's unfortunate. We don't want to see it. You don't want to see this. Like, and I think that's the thing that people are just trying to understand. One thing I will commend is the young people that are out here protesting, marching, and I've been one that I've never felt comfortable with shutting down an interstate.
Yeah.
For many reasons. I have never felt comfortable with that because that is putting yourself in harm's way in a way that I just can't even comprehend. But these young people are operating fearlessly. And sadly, I feel like without them, we don't get the same type of push that we're getting right now.
Dre, I go back to the civil rights movement, and we can talk about Rosa Parks, we can talk about Martin Luther King, we can talk about Malcolm X. But if you look between the lines of everything that was going on, it was young people who pushed that initiative.
Yeah. It's, man, like I said, seeing those young people block off 75,
crazy.
I just didn't want anybody to get hurt, man. Like it made me feel anxious. It made me feel uneasy, but it also made me feel proud. Damn it, shut it down.
Dre, I told somebody, I said, and I'm glad it didn't happen. I said, I hope this comes to a peaceful end. Because if they get rough with these people on these protesters on 75, it could have been a long night for Atlanta.
It could have been, yeah. And like you say, Huff, in more ways than one.
Yeah. Unfortunately, if that would happen.
Unfortunately, for sure. I've watched a lot of protests go down and even more watched a documentary about the Rodney King incident. LA 92 is on Netflix. It's a great documentary.
Have you watched the other one? You got to watch the other one now that takes you 10 years. Let It Fall.
I haven't seen that one yet.
LA 1982 to 1992. And you see the buildup of what had been going on from the chokehold to how they were treated to what was said. I mean, I sat and watched it with a 17-year-old kid. He goes, so you telling me this has been going on since 1982? Like, they're not thinking about the civil rights movement. Just be honest with you. They're not.
Yeah.
So you telling me this has been going on? He said, he did like this. He said, well, 82 to 92 is 10 years. 2002 is 20 years. 2012 is 30 years.
Yeah.
So we're talking about almost 40 years it's been going on? And I just kind of looked at him like, and gave a shrug. Like, I gave a Michael Jordan shrug. Like,
and we don't want to go back as far back as 1921, right? When it comes to rioting, like, it's just, man, it's ugly. It's an ugly part of as far. The thing that gets me is, as far as we feel like we've come, to see that the same things that are being said about the Black Lives Matter movement and the protesters, if you go back and look at polling, it's the same things that were being said about Martin Luther King. I agree with their message, but not the way that they're going about it. It's the same thing people were saying with Dr. King. People forget that he did not have a positive approval rating at one point in time. Now people are starting to question where all the Black Lives Matter money or people are pouring into that organization. Now people are starting to question where that money is going and who that money is benefiting. Same thing with Dr. King.
Yeah.
Should we stop giving our money to Sean King? Are we gonna be honest? Even though he went to Morehouse, I mean, listen. I don't want to get into that. I do want to talk basketball, man. Listen, I feel like I'm gonna leave it at this. I'm not the most woke individual, but I'm woke enough if that makes sense.
It
You know
does.
what I'm saying?
It does.
Like I'm not. I try to be able to have a conversation in any room that I'm in, and this right here, like all of this, man. I've been watching CNN for the last 3 months, and it is draining. I'm drained. I don't know, man. I don't know. So from people who are activists or they are creating these fundraiser situations, and you don't know where the money is going, whatever the case, these companies who are putting out these tweets, these coaches who are putting out these tweets, these colleges and universities and whoever else is putting out stuff. But then we can go look at your organization or your record company. We can get into that too. Your record company who's running the show. And there's no black people working in the top offices, in the front offices, your NBA teams. There's nobody working in there. You have no black coaches on your staff. The list goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. It's not just about people getting killed in the car.
100%.
It's systematic. It's systematic injustice and systematic racism and privilege. I mean, it's like privilege. Privilege just doesn't go to
even more.
Privilege just doesn't go to a white person. Privilege can go to us. When we decided, I got too fed on the hog and made enough money that that don't affect me no more. I live in Buckhead.
That part. That part.
I hope that I have that luxury, but I hope that I don't act like that.
That's one thing where and yes, your Coach Repress, you're 100% right. I think we talk about local elections, like now the eyes are going to have to turn to prosecution and the DA's office, and we're going to have to start looking at those things. I 100% agree with you. But Huff, I'm with you when it comes to privilege. Part of the systemic racism that I feel like that happens in this country is that education varies by zip code.
Yes, it does.
So even though that doesn't impact or affect my kids necessarily, for me not to fight hard for that, it just doesn't make sense. It's to fight against equality. Equality is just that. That's the thing that I feel like people are having a hard time grasping. I was having a conversation with a friend, and he was like, well, I mean, come on, man. Black people can make it. Like, you can make it. You can do it. Like, and he's having that conversation basically, and he's talking about all the black people who have made it and obtained things. That's not equal, though.
Why do I have to pull myself out of my bootstraps when you don't have to?
Exactly.
And it's again, why should DeJuan get a better, and I'm putting on me, why should my son get a better education than a kid that lives in Ben Hill or Pittsburgh, right? Or
university where the incident happened.
Why should my son get a better education than that kid? They both live in the state of Georgia. To me, that's equality. And we're not even talking about private. I'm talking about at a public school.
Dre, you want to know about privilege and equality? You want to know about privilege and equality? I'm going to just give you real facts right now. So where that incident happened at Wendy's, ask me how many restaurants are over there.
It ain't nothing over there but McDonald's and fast food.
It ain't even a McDonald's over there, bro.
Yeah.
There's a wing place. And
JJ's Fish.
And there was Wendy's.
Yeah.
So you want to talk about equality? Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too many liquor stores, man. Too many pawn shops, bro. It's pressure's on. And my thing, I'm with you, Bryce. I'm sick of it. I'm a wreck, like emotionally all over the place a lot. But I feel like our only resort is to keep the press on and keep it in their face.
I was so happy just to like be in the gym today and just to like be in the gym. Like, and I haven't even been in 3 months. Almost to the point where I picked up the ball and I shot. I'm like, damn, this shit don't even feel right. It was like, man, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Let's talk about being in the gym. We got the NBA is talking about their comeback, and we talked about it Thursday on our show. And we was like, "Hey, which NBA superstar is the most likely to say?"
Did we call it or did we call it?
We called it. We called it.
Okay, hold on. Who did I say?
We said, well, actually, Coach Gray said Kyrie. He was the first
Kyrie.
one that said it was.
Kyrie not even. He not even playing. That don't even make no sense.
But when he
So,
go ahead.
so let
Coach.
me ask y'all a question, because I know, isn't he like the vice president of the Players Association? So
I didn't-
was it him making that statement as just being Kyrie, or was he making that statement on behalf of the players on being a vice president? Because it was kind of funny that a guy that's out for the whole year to make that comment, and it just didn't make sense. But then when someone brought up to my attention that he was the vice president, I was like, well, maybe people are taking it out of context and thinking it's him saying, he doesn't want to do it and he might be talking for the masses.
If he's speaking in that role, then I get it. If he's not in that role, I don't really get that he becomes that voice of the NBA at this moment. Not discrediting, not taking anything away from him, but I don't see him as a spokesman.
My biggest thing was, do we really know what he said? We're getting bits, and again, it's like we're getting bits.
We never know what they really.
Oh, we're getting. We shouldn't play because of everything that's going on in society. Oh, we're getting. Everybody should have the same amount of the pie as everybody else. Like, we're not getting the whole thing of what he said.
I will say that I understand their point. It's like him and Lou Will. I get it. And
Dwight Howard too.
Yeah, and I was like, nah, they need to come back and play basketball. Until yesterday, I was like, man, forget this shit. This shit don't really matter. Like, who cares? Like,
yeah.
I'm with you, Bryce.
I get it. I would love to see the NBA come out. I predicted the Lakers were going to win in the studio.
Yeah.
But I'm like,
and then you bring back basketball, and basketball starts to overshadow incidents like last night. Like, for example, if yesterday would have been July 30th, and that incident would have happened, a lot of people would have probably been more so tuned into Sports Center to see how the first day of the NBA went back, and probably wouldn't even watch CNN, because now I could probably tell you more of what's going on in the world watching CNN than I would normally do watching ESPN. Right. So, from that standpoint, and with these things continue to happen, what it looked like on a week in and week out basis, I kind of get what they're saying.
Yeah, I get it.
And it's tough because we all basketball guys, and we will all love to see the game played and get to see LeBron probably get his next ring. But, if we're not going to do our people the justice and put basketball before these injustices, we're not doing us no favors in the future.
And talk that talk. LeBron definitely was going to get another one.
I think this is also an important time in Adam Silver's career, where he's on the hot seat right now for coronavirus decisions and the decisions he makes. He also the things we're going through. All this is going to be looked at. I like him. I'm just saying this is a situation where they looked at David Stern too. Like, this is going to be, they're going to look at him to see what decision he makes.
So I'm going to make a comment that may not be.
I agree with that, Bryce.
Yeah, that may not be taken well. So here we had an NBA, and they're fighting over things that matter. And you have, which is predominantly African American, and you have predominantly Caucasian Major League Baseball who are fighting over how much I'm getting paid in a shortened season. But we're scared to talk about privilege.
Yeah. That's fair. That's fair. They're not fighting over whether or not this.
They're not fighting over coronavirus. They're not fighting over social injustice. They're fighting over my salary is only going to be this much because we only playing this amount of games.
It's the ugly truth. Yeah, it's the ugly truth, and you said it.
That's tough.
But,
I didn't think
about the guys that are like Quinn Cooks, the Quinn Cooks of the league, like, I want them to play for them. You know what I mean? Because that's
what Austin Rivers said. He said, "Listen,
he deserves to play. He deserved to get paid. He deserved to play these games." Right.
And Bright, that's what Austin Rivers said. He said, I get what you're saying, Kyrie.
Yeah.
Again, we don't know the whole what all was
Kyrie good to go. Yeah.
but there are people that if we don't play this season,
Yeah.
it'll be a choice of their own. They didn't do that. I can't speak on that, but they're in trouble.
Everyone didn't get a max contract. Everybody doesn't have a Nike endorsement deal. So, like I think about guys like Rajon Tucker that I got the chance to coach at Little Rock that, he took a bet on himself and he went through the NBA G League and he earned a spot on the Utah Jazz. So, for guys like that I knew the reason why he was leaving school in the first place to help his family out financially and to, finally get that chance. It is kind of tough for, him to have sat out and have foregone his senior year where he could have got his degree to pursue his career. So, that's why it's tough for those kind of guys that, didn't graduate, didn't get a degree. And on top of that, they don't have max contracts or never made real endorsement money. So, you might have some 18, 19-year-olds, sitting at the crib like, man, let me look at some online classes or something.
I could say, yeah.
I want to say this, man. And I totally understand that. I get it. To me, the pressure goes back on the Players Association to me. And I don't necessarily know that should be part of the discussion about playing or not. And I say that because for us to get where we're going, there's no way to do that comfortably. Like there just isn't. The moment we go back to being comfortable, so does everybody else.
But at the same time, Andre, somebody asked me today if I thought it would change like soon. No, it's not going to change anytime soon. So at the same time, yes, we are trying to work to get progress. It's not an overnight thing. So I mean, if they do play in the NBA and it's 3 weeks,
and this is a discussion I had. This is a discussion I had with my next door neighbors, and I want to ask you guys: do you feel if we weren't in quarantine for the last couple of months and people had to go about their day-to-day life where they had to wake up the next morning and go to work, would this have been another situation where we see it on TV and we complain about it amongst each other on social media and not get out there and protest? Or is this a mix of anger and frustration from being in the house for 3 to 4 months, probably being unemployed, losing money, furloughed or whatever? So, now that we have the extra time, would you be out there on a Sunday protesting until 12 in the morning, knowing you got to get the kids up at 6 so that you can drop them off and make it to work? So, I'm happy that we're actually doing it, but what part of it is? Say that again, Coach. I couldn't hear you.
I think it's all part of what the timing. Like I think it's timing. I think it happened for a reason that we were home because I do believe.
I agree with that. I never even thought about it from that perspective where, God might have wanted to line all of this stuff up to give our people a chance to go ahead and have the time to voice our opinion and, use George Floyd as a martyr, as an angel for the movement.
I'm sorry,
George Floyd took a tremendous, I can't really put it into words because I can't go down that route right now. But what he did was like biblical. Like he took. I can't go down that route.
Did you hear what his daughter said? His daughter said, "My daddy changed the world," which, lo and behold, we may look back a couple of years from now and he may have changed the world because, if they start defunding these police, departments and things of that nature, if it wasn't for George Floyd, it still would be more incidences happening.
I got one bigger for you. I can't remember maybe it was somebody that said he wanted to change the world long before this. He said that. It came out his mouth that he said he wanted to change the world. And I said this to somebody, and I say this with all due respect to anybody who battled COVID-19, who had somebody or pass away. If COVID-19 wasn't here, I don't know if we would have had the stance on what's going on in America with social injustice that we have right now. because it put it in front of everybody's face.
We had so much fun.
Not just, oh, I glanced at the news right now because I just got home from work, but I got other stuff to do. I can't really worry about that.
We was all standing still for this one.
Yeah.
I think and again, I want to talk about some other stuff, but I think even like for Trayvon Martin, we sat still for a little while. We were upset. We were extremely upset, but we weren't still because we had stuff going on.
Still, for us hoopheads, man, it was still too many games to watch. It was highlights to watch.
We still had to go to the gym the next day. We had to go to work the next day, and
you had to get
the emotional, pain of understanding why this kid is gone, and he went to the corner store. We all went to the corner store. Come on, man.
Thanks. Yep. It's tough, man. It's hard to find words to explain this stuff, man. I'm so like tired of one thing that I do see is that I feel like companies are making. We can always criticize what companies do. What I don't want to do is to put corporations in a lose-lose situation, right? Where there's no way to make up for ignoring a particular group of people outside of when you can benefit from that group. But I also don't want to put them in a situation that where no matter what they do, that hold on, my boy,
yo,
my boy, you checking in live from the gym? What's up?
Oh yeah, man, we over here just taking a break, man, before the games get started, man. Just taking a quick break. I decided to check in, see what y'all talking about. What's up, Coach?
What's going on, man? You doing all right?
I'm doing good, man. I hope these boys ain't getting on your nerves like they get on mine sometimes.
Man, I done got to learn so many of my players this off season and them personalities, man. Them boys are hilarious.
Hey, Locke, my Wi-Fi much better without you on here, my guy. Hey, it's much better. We got full man group. You know what I'm saying? Pre-season, off-season work.
Well, that's a good segue, Locke. What you see in that gym? What you see in that gym today, and what you saw yesterday?
Today, younger kids, I think.
Yeah, today's younger kids. Today's the 2023, 2024 class. But it's some talent in here. It's about 50 kids. It's not 50 to 40 kids in here from all over the state. They just did drill stations. And it's a couple of good kids I saw. I'm just ready for gameplay. But yesterday was lit.
There was some kids in there.
It was some kids.
I think it was most of the top kids in the state. Most of them.
It was a lot of them, man.
Yeah,
a lot of came to represent.
Mm-hmm. If you had to give a top 5 from yesterday, Locke, from the On the Radar Academy camp, what's your top 5?
No, Robbie Armbruster, Malik Ewing.
Hold on, let me write these down.
Yeah, Derrick Harris.
Let me write these down.
I agree with 2.
Hey, go again, Locke. Say it again. Say your top 5 again.
I got Robbie Armbruster. I got Malik Ewing, Ian Sherford.
Yes, he was impressive.
Derrick Harris is my top 10. He ain't in my top 5. I want to say who else? What's a guard?
Andrew McConnell.
McConnell, he had his moment, but I don't think
Andrew McConnell did look good. The kid from St. Francis was good. Kai Simmons.
No, the kid from Birthmark.
Yes. Number 29. Yes.
Yeah,
He might have been the best one.
The guard, the train from out of Alabama.
6'3" kid.
Fitz. Oh, Jamari Hill.
Transfer from Alabama. Locke is already dropping the transfers on the show.
Oh, no,
you see him?
He is off the chain.
Hey, he's off the chain. Yes, he might have been the best player there.
Hey, athletic skills, can shoot it. Got some dog.
He was jumping like, he was good. That's the good one.
Hey, so Alabama came through and crushed the buildings. That's what y'all saying?
I mean,
think
Georgia
from
have to
Alabama,
lose.
I think, but hey, man, whew. I'm gonna watch Birthmark play a couple of times with him and Malik Ewing. It's gonna be
Good.
interesting how their season go this year.
Hey, Bryce.
Dave right here next to me. He over here looking at the podcast with his mask on.
He scouts younger kids too.
You say what?
Dave scouts younger kids too.
Yeah, Dave right here.
Yeah, he hustling.
Man, Dave was making me look, man. He working too hard.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jim.
Hey, you got to pull a mic. You got to pull a mic move and take him out to the club one night, so he too tired to wake up for the camp the next day.
I know, right, man. I'm gonna start doing that. I'm gonna do my guy Trent like that too, man. Cause Trent always in the gym every morning.
Hey, Lock, I'm gonna give you the secret for Dave, man. You put 2 Coronas in Dave, and you got him.
That's it.
Lightweight.
Hey, hold on, man. I'm just since we here, man. I got the crew. Y'all see the AD Eddie Hood?
Yo.
Hey,
Hey, man, you got Chris Watkins.
Yo, we live right now?
We live.
Yes,
We live.
Who else we got?
Got old Trent. Y'all see
Trent, my guy Trent.
One of the best podcasts in the state.
You know,
You gotta get a phone up. Got y'all.
yeah. Hey,
Man, what it
Oh
is?
my
What
God.
it like?
That's the juice.
Yo, what's up, boy?
Mr. On the radar.
Hey, one B right. Hey, man.
Hey.
Son here.
hey, that man said, what did he say, Huff? That Klay Thompson could check anybody on the Bulls team. What was
He
that?
said he would guard Michael Jordan. He said
Yeah.
Thompson would stop Michael Jordan. That's
Hey,
what.
look at Coach Jordan's face.
Yeah, I'm glad I made that one. I'm glad I wasn't here for that.
Send him back to the stations. He need to work some more.
Oh, man. Hold on. Hey, man. My boy Nick said he mad. Y'all ain't
Man,
got him back on the show,
messing
man.
with y'all.
Oh, yeah, you
Hey,
got to
y'all
get him
used
on.
to be the homie, Dre.
Hey,
Dre. What up, too? OG up. What up, boy?
What's up, baby?
hey, Lock. Hey, Lock.
Hey, hold on, man. What's up?
We invited Nick for episode 2. Where Nick been at? We 3
I don't
seasons
know.
in now.
Hey, my boy here say he need to get on too, man. Willie Evans.
Oh, that's
What's
my
good?
guy,
What's
too.
good?
Hey.
Oh, this is the podcast.
Yeah, that's the
I was
podcast.
good enough to come on the phone, but I can't come on the
Hey, I asked him to be on the show, but he's not gonna be on. But I'm gonna give him a shout out, man. Y'all shout out to OST, man. What's up, man?
What's good? He be in the gym. Hey, he work harder than everybody. He be in the gym all the time, dropping videos at 3 a.m.
All day, every day.
Yep.
Hey, that's the great thing about Atlanta hoops. Hey, Locke just gave us a full tour of Atlanta basketball in like a minute and 30 seconds.
Really?
Oh yeah. Hey man, we about to get this game started, man. I just want to check in with y'all, man.
Appreciate it. Man.
That was good.
Holla, boy.
All right.
All right, Locke.
Yep.
That was fun.
Hey, Locke took us on a full tour of Atlanta. You got the camera crew with OST, with Chris Watkins. Chris Watkins running JUCO events. Trent, one of the better scouts in Georgia. Sean, the best event runner in Georgia.
Mr. On the radar.
Yeah, man. Locke took us to the trainers and everything, man. Nick Stapleton out there doing his thing. Like, we just got an Atlanta tour. Hey, you're welcome. If you're new to Atlanta, man, that he just introduced you to everybody.
To the who's.
Yeah, right. I hope y'all wrote those names down. Let's talk about it. Go ahead and give us your breakdown, Bryce. We got Locke's breakdown of the On the Radar Hoops Academy event yesterday, but you had some players that you saw. So give us a breakdown of what you saw, man.
Man, how I roll. I kind of like finding the kids that nobody talks about. I like to find those kids, and that's kind of the same thing I've done with my team. Find the kids that nobody talks about and try to get them better, expose them, and get them to the next level. So that's kind of what I was looking at. I saw the kid from Lanier. He's 6'5", Makai Vassell. He's tough. He was playing hard. Like, He's playing extremely hard. I think if we had played live period in April, man, I like him. Somebody's gonna steal him. Who else? Cam McDowell was impressive as always from McEachern. Who else was a sleeper? Jordan Wicker, sleeper.
He's transferred to Roswell. He was at Mount Vernon.
Yeah, Jordan Wicker. We
showed him on the show. We showed him on the show.
Yeah. He looked like he was about 6'6" now, maybe close to 6'7". Had a few plays above the rim, dunked on a few people. I think he's gonna be solid in the near future. Locke already touched on what's his name? Derek. What's his last name?
Derek Harris.
Yes. He was impressive as far as coming off these screens, and he was not dribbling. If he was open, he caught it and shot it and knocked it down. That was impressive to me because a lot of kids dribble too much. Perry Robinson, 6'6" wing. I think he was probably one of the taller legit threes that was there.
Bryce, let me ask you something.
Mm-hmm.
If Perry was going into college right now,
mm-hmm.
is he a 3 or is he a face-up 4?
A face-up 4 or a 3? I mean, I think I would try to get him on the wing because of his size. He's not very big yet. He needs to get in the weight room. He's got to add a few. He's got to get a little bit stronger. He can shoot the ball. He can handle the ball too pretty well. So, not sure.
What do you think he's elite at?
And he gravitates to the wing. You know what I mean? So, I think he can play the 4. He probably did in high school at Kennesaw Mountain and stuff like that. Just not sure that that's going to happen in college. What is he elite at?
Yeah,
I think his best tool is getting to the basket off the dribble.
Can he do that consistently? And I'm just asking, not saying he
can. I mean
consistently versus smaller, let's say a 3. I mean, Coach Jordan, the average 3 in the Sun Belt, maybe 6'4",
6'5".
Like Quan Jackson was a 3. I think he might have played a little 2 at Georgia Southern.
I'll say this. He's 6'6". If you get him right and he gets back in shape, like pre-COVID, he's in the gym, he's working out, I think you got one. Now. So you're more talking, not in a bad way, potential. Yeah, I'm saying he needs time. He needs coaching. He needs coaching. He needs time to get his body right. He needs time to get focused. But
Bryce, I'm asking these questions because we got a lot of listeners out here.
Yeah. I like Perry, but for me, and I'm not gonna bullshit you, I think he's got to play harder. And you said that too. But at the same time, I also look at it from 2 perspectives. I can see what the kid has the potential to be, especially being that he's almost 6'7". He can handle the ball. He can shoot the 3. So if you coach him and teach him how to play at the next level, like I said, I think you have a good player.
But here's what I'm saying. I agree with you on all that. But do people outside looking in have to say, okay, I see that potential and I see what he can become. Am I at a program that can allow him to do those things? Because we got to understand.
No, nobody can.
Jordan's trying to take a kid. They may need a kid right now, a high school kid that can be in a rotation right now. It may just be the 8th or 9th guy or 10th guy, but they need him to play 10 minutes a game this year. Or he may be able to go to a different situation where he doesn't have to do that and he can get his body strong. He can learn how I need to work. But it may not be the same level as the Sun Belt. And we as coaches, handlers, trainers, whatever we are, got to understand if you try to get a kid that's going to play right away, then you got to understand what it's going to take to play right away.
He doesn't
get mad if he's got to sit and then he's in the transfer portal.
he doesn't necessarily have to play right away. His important thing, what he needs to get down is learning that work ethic and getting right and learning the game. Like he was playing today, and I had some college kids and they were playing with him, and they said he's good, but he's got to continue to learn the game. You know what I mean? He's got to work harder. So, but a lot of kids are like that when, you know, they have the lack of experience. So, like I said, I like him. I like him a lot. You just got to work with him. He just, you know, he's not a bad kid. He just like, dude, you got to get your ass back on defense. You can't do that. He's talented.
One of the things, and it may impact Perry, I think, Bryce, one of the things that Locke always talks about when he talks about, Coach Jordan, Locke ranks high school coaches. And I was going to wait for Locke to come out with this. I was going to wait for Locke to come out with this because I wanted to do an edit for it and everything. But Locke watches high school coaches and he ranks high school coaches, right? So Locke ranks it just like we rank everything else. So Locke could tell you a high school coach is high major versus another high school coach might be low major. Some coaches he gonna say, "Oh man, that coach is D3 JUCO." Like Locke ranks coaches in that way, right?
Yeah,
that's Locke's way of saying, "Hey, there are levels to this. When it comes to players, there are levels to this. When it comes to coaches, and that's what he does with high school coaches." Locke, could a player, a high school kid who hasn't played for one of those, as Locke would say, high major coaches, could that impact a kid's ability to perform at the next level?
Without question, because every year when we get younger kids and high school kids, it's almost sometimes you got to teach them the game all over again. And, you know, there's not a lot of high school coaches that, you know, fix mistakes and teaches basic principles. We have some guys that we get that never did shell drill before. And, you know, we don't do these guys a service by not preparing them. So, you know, it is tough. It is tough. And, you know, if you have a good kid and he's playing for an elite coach, that probably would give him a competitive advantage long term.
Can I give you one more? This is sleeper. Can I give you one more? This kid, point guard. I don't know where he goes to high school. I was impressed with what I saw. Hubbard. Oh man, they got Uncle Drew in here.
You know I'm the best in the world, right? I'm out here doing shit nobody else is doing. Yo, we have trainers teaching these kids, bro.
Go ahead.
I can't do dribble handoff. Y'all can't do nothing.
Go ahead and post the video so we can see how bad it was.
I'm the GOAT. Learn. This is my last dance. I'm sorry to interrupt the show, but he had to get that off. So I just want to make sure he gets on the live podcast. But I'm gonna let y'all get that.
He got 30 yesterday.
Hold on.
He did.
Is it true? I need Mark to answer this. Is it true what was put on Twitter that he got blasted by y'all by 30 points?
Ooh.
Oh man, y'all had like 6 Division I players for real.
Oh, okay. All right.
No, he did. Like he had Robbie Armbruster,
Oh, it wasn't fair. So it wasn't fair. So Sean set up the teams like that for Mark to get blasted.
But you know, Mark might can train, but everybody know Mark can't coach. Mark can train, man. Y'all know that, man. You know, man.
Hey, I beat Mark my first year playing AAU.
Oh my God!
AAU.
Mark, he said he's the best trainer, not the best coach.
Is he the best trainer?
No comment. But that's my dude, though. That's my guy. That's my
dude. But yeah, the Seth Hubbard was good. I guess he trains with Swain. There was a whole bunch of on your moment going on. So he's solid. And Jens was pretty good as well. Wasn't his best outing, but I like him too. You know, and I've also been very hard on Tyler Shirley. Yesterday,
he looked good.
He looked good. I was like, okay.
Y'all don't get Coach Jordan mad at here now. He got to go up against Tyler Shirley.
Tyler Shirley had numerous drives where he dunked and pulled up on the rim on these people. Like not on purpose, but like he was getting active. So,
Hey,
those
Tommy,
are my people.
boy.
We got the first lady of SUV.
What's up?
What's up?
First lady.
Hey, can we get back in the studio? We got people trying to get on the couch. Oh, Jordan want to come to the couch.
Yeah,
All right.
man. This chair I'm sitting on don't look as comfortable as them couches.
Hey, Lock,
Yeah.
we're gonna come back to you in a minute, big dog. Appreciate
Nah,
you.
I'm gonna let y'all hear. I'm done. I seen Mark in his bag, so I knew he was sweating and stuff. So I wanted to give a little shine on him. I owed him that since I was talking about how he was getting on the kids the other day. Yeah.
Hey, the whole world is waiting for you to release your list of high major and low major high school coaches.
Oh, you really gonna put that out there?
Spicy talk.
Hey, Lock.
That was an off network topic.
Hey, Lock. I didn't say no names, bro. I didn't say no names.
You know, all his South
man.
Georgia coaches gonna be at least mid major.
You
gotta
gotta
know that.
hold on. We gotta say D2s and JUCOs and NAIA coaches out there too now. There's some of those high school coaches out there too.
No
But,
doubt.
all right, man. Y'all have a great show, man.
All right.
Yeah, you too, my guy.
He's not wrong though.
I don't want nothing to do with that.
It's levels to that high school coaching thing, man. And Coach Jordan, we make you pay for it when y'all go take a kid that.
Coach Jordan went from killing at Clark Atlanta to winning the conference this year. I'd like to know about that.
Well, I'm gonna always say it starts with Coach Darryl Walker. He's one of the best basketball minds I've ever been around, and I'm kind of mad and disappointed that we didn't get to finish the Sun Belt tournament. That we was actually in the semis automatically because we won a regular season, and we felt kind of comfortable with the way the brackets was, and we thought we had a good shot to get to the NCAA tournament. And I really just wanted Coach Walker to get introduced to the world because I've been around a lot of coaches, a lot of basketball minds, and there's no doubt that Coach Walker can compete with just about anyone. And, you know, after year one in the Sun Belt and me really getting a chance to sit and watch other teams and see the strengths and the weaknesses of personnel in the conference, it helped me get a better grasp for what to go ahead and recruit for year two. And what we were able to accomplish in year two was pretty amazing. You know, they picked us last. We ended up in first. Our point guard, Marquise Noel, should have got player of the year, if you ask me. He ended up first team all conference. Kamani Johnson, that played with Ant-Man in high school, he was third team all conference. And then bringing in Big Root, you know, he took the conference by storm. And, you know, we had a transfer from UNLV and, you know, a couple of guys from overseas. And what we were able to put together was very, very talented. And, you know, the scary thing is we didn't lose no one off that roster. And we had about two guys sitting out.
Hey man, I agree. Y'all did some amazing stuff. We're showing some of the highlights from the Memphis game, and I agree. Marquise Noel is a certified cooker. Like,
oh yeah. And you know, he had a lot of high majors, but you know, my connections that I had with me being from New York and knowing a lot of the same people, and then you know, getting these kids on the phone with Coach Walker and for them to see how down to earth he is as a head coach. I think that also helps me as far as being able to bring in the talent. You know, whenever you got a head coach that can make the kids feel comfortable, and you know, the knowledge that he has of the game from being a former NBA coach, and you know, having those guys still call him to this day and speak highly of him. And something that was very, very important was that last dance. Coach Walker used to tell us, because in '93 he won a championship with the Bulls. And he used to tell us how Michael Jordan used to bring it every day in practice. And, you know, as the last dance was airing and they were showing Mike in practice and the way he was competing and, you know, talking trash, we had some guys texting us like, you know, this year in practice, I think I'm going to, you know, bring it in practice just the way I bring it in games. And so, you know, I'm looking forward to it. I think this team next year may have the chance to be even specialer than this past season.
Coach, what was really huge, or what do you attribute to the fact of y'all going from where y'all were in the first year to where y'all ended up this past year? Because that's hard to do. I mean, a lot of people aren't able to make that big a leap from year one to year two.
To be honest, I would just really say it was 365 days. Like last year we started, well, the first year we started Marquise, Nicola, Horace, that's now going to Morehouse, and Nicola. Those were 4 freshmen that we were starting with Rajon Tucker. And, Coach Walker allowed those boys to get baptized by fire, and it turned out to be a blessing in disguise because there was a lot of games in year one that we felt if we were a little bit deeper, the outcome would have been a lot different. And with us being able to get a full year of recruiting and bringing in guys to complement that freshman class that we had recruited, I think that was the biggest difference, was just, the depth and the maturity.
And then, Coach, a kid obviously he played down here in Atlanta at Holy Spirit, Kamani Johnson. What did you see in him? Because, I'll be honest, there were some people down here that was like, he's going to Little Rock. I don't see that. What did you see in him?
I would say a lot of it was maturity. He came to us as a young man that, real childish ways, would come to practice some days and say, Coach, I'm tired. Coach, what you doing being tired? You should be going to sleep. His sleeping habits was off. He was coming to practice without eating before practice. And, not having mom around, it bothered him his first year, and he had to grow up. And, he brought in Coach Walker, coached him hard. And the leaps that he made in year 2 was amazing. He had 2 games at 30, was top 5 in the conference and rebounding. And he was really, really solid. And I think, he's going to be even better this year. He sends me workout videos all the time of him up at Smitty's house. And, that was important. And I was afraid, I'm not going to even lie, to see him make the strides and change his body. And then the pandemic happened. I was afraid that he wasn't going to work out. He wasn't going to be in the gym. But, he's been working out with Jaren Jackson. And, I've been really impressed with his mentality. And then, once you get a taste of winning, it becomes contagious. And I think all them young men knowing what we accomplished this year and knowing that, if you ask me, us having an advantage with having a whole roster and a lot of teams with a lot of moving pieces, and they're going to have to get things gelled up where we're just going to be sharpening our knives.
Yeah.
Man, you guys look like you really let your guys play. I mean, y'all run stuff, but it looks like y'all let y'all guys create in that offense, man. How do you, as a new staff, develop that type of trust with new guys that quickly?
Well, I'm going to tell you, Coach Walker very rarely complains about shot selections unless you had a teammate open. Now, if you could have made one more pass and the guy was open, Coach Walker blow the whistle and he'll say, Marquise, tell him. And he'll say, tell Kamani you was open. He should have made that extra pass. And, other than that, it's fun basketball because, as you see, we like to get out in transition and everybody gets a chance to shoot shots within their limits. Now, we're not just letting guys go out there and put up shots that they shouldn't, be taking, or shots that they don't at least come in the gym and practice. And our offense is very free-flowing. And it's a fun style where we don't really have to depend on one person to carry the load. When we was at Clark Atlanta, actually, in this offense, we had a year where 10 out of our 11 guys each scored 20 points at least one game during that season. And then the first season, we had 7 guys average double figures, and then the 8th and 9th guy average 8 and 9 points. So, if you get out and run in the way we share the ball, it's really fun basketball.
No doubt. We got a question from the chat. Was how was Primero for you guys?
Isaiah, I love Isaiah. And, not only as a basketball player, but as a freshman, that probably was one of the funniest guys on the team. And, he came from Florida and, he had his ups and downs as a freshman. Unfortunately, during the beginning of the season, we had our point guard, Jay Zaglotti, break his finger. So Isaiah was forced for his first time in his career to play the point for us. And, I think it actually benefited him because when we actually played against Georgia State at the end of the year, Marquise had tweaked his hamstring. We had put the ball in Isaiah's hand because Jazik and Marquise actually were out for that game. And the leaps that Isaiah made was second to none. Watching him in that hostile environment, running a point, it actually made us excited for this up and coming season. And Coach Walker has been talking very, very highly of Isaiah, during these summer months.
Hey man, y'all bring everybody back. I know that definitely makes y'all dangerous. Do you allow the team to talk about what it would be like playing in the NCAA tournament? Do kids still get jacked up about the possibility of playing in the tournament the way we used to?
They had no choice because since they got on campus last year, Coach Walker was preaching to them in summer workouts that it's no doubt in his mind that this was an NCAA team. He wasn't preaching winning the Sun Belt. He was preaching winning the NCAA, and I think it became a mindset for our guys. And one thing about Coach Walker that I'm going to tell you, and I said this on the last time I was on a podcast, that first practice, the first time somebody messes up, he's probably going to curse everyone out and tell them that last year is over and that it happened and that this is a whole new year. And, now we're the hunted. We're not the hunters no more. Now we're walking in gyms with the target on our back. And if you think for 1 second it's going to just be handed to us, you got something coming to you. And, a lot of people may be saying, well, it may have been a fluke. They may have just been a lucky team. And so, Coach Walker is definitely going to keep instilling his values into the program, his discipline, and we're going to treat this year like last year never happened.
Coach, there's some major hitters in that Sun Belt Conference. Rob Lanier here at Georgia State, Dustin Kearns at App State, Richie Riley at South Alabama. I can keep going down the list. How is that every night? I think people don't understand how good your league is. Can you kind of explain that to them?
I really, really, really don't think people understand how good the league is. And Coach Walker preaches, and it's very, very true. On any given night, any team in the Sun Belt can win. There's really no separation from the number one team to the last place team. I remember it was a stretch during the year where the difference from first to seventh may have been a game and a half. And, it's just unfortunate that we got to play against each other and beat up on each other. And our records may look the way they may look, where you only will get one Sun Belt team into the NCAA tournament. But, doing scouting reports and watching these other programs, for myself, I started making my own personal playbook where I started stealing some of them plays that I had to watch while I was doing, my due diligence, doing scouting reports and things of that nature.
Coach, I don't know now. Beating up on each other, y'all have 420-win teams in the league now.
I know, yeah. This was and to me, I thought the league was a little bit tougher the first year. And, for us to have that many 20-win teams in the second year when I thought it was kind of down a little bit, I was kind of surprised because Georgia State, with their head coach going to Tulane, I thought they would take a step back, but they actually maintained. Georgia Southern with losing a kid, Tukey Brown, that I thought was a hell of a player. They stayed right there. And so, it was real surprising to me that, the cream of the crop, for them to lose some of their best players, but still to stay in the top four range, I was really impressed. And, of course, like us all, we look at the verbal commits and we look at who's coming where, who's transferring where, and I'm excited about it, to see all these teams get better. And for us to actually have two guys that redshirted for us this past season to get healthy, I think the Sun Belt, the title that people call it the Fun Belt, is definitely going to be an interesting league. And if you look at some of the box scores of the non-conference games that we played this year, a lot of those Power 5 schools were put on notice. Yeah. And, it's just that the way that things are where, unfortunately we will be a one bid league team, it's a disservice in a sense.
Coach, could you ever see the NCAA making a decision to move forward with the season, but possibly play without fans due to impacts from COVID?
I think anything is possible right now, especially with the protests going on and, of course, cities re-peaking and the spikes going back up. I think everything is going to be on the table. But, the good thing for us is that there is a football season before there's a basketball season. So I think a lot of the things that we see in football, if it works, it'll happen with basketball.
That's true.
And, you know, I'm hoping that a season happens, and I'm hoping that there's fans in the seats because, as you know, a lot of teams and a lot of players, they feed off of that momentum of a crowd. So, you know, I'm hoping, you know, God changes the path that we're going down right now.
I agree, Coach. We're going to have a conversation about just that. We're bringing on one of the tournament directors, one of the independent tournament directors for one of the biggest events in the country. We'll talk how we prepare for an event and being outside and what we plan to do to try to make this event as safe as possible. So we got Jerome Reaver coming on from Indy Hoops. So we'll get him in. Jerome, big dog, what's good?
What's up, fellas? Thank you.
What's going on?
Thank you guys for having me on, man. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
We had conversations, Jerome, on our last episode of the podcast about events coming back around COVID-19, what's currently being done. I think we talked a little bit about the guidelines that you put out there, but let's get started. Let's talk about the guidelines and the things that you guys are putting in place. For those who don't know, Jerome, the Tip-Off Classic is one of the crown jewels of our city in the summertime, right? There's a few events that we all want to hit. The Tip-Off Classic, you got Bob Gibbons, you got some of these other big events that are independent events, non-live period events that everybody wants to attend and play in. But the Tip-Off Classic, I think, is the crown jewel of those events. So without that, it's definitely a blow to the basketball community. But due to COVID, our normal schedule of when we have that event, we normally be attending your event in March prior to live period or early April prior to live period is when we be attending that event. It was pushed to July, and we were unclear of whether or not it would happen. And you made the decision to make that happen. So I want to turn it over to you, talk about what you went through in making that decision, and then what the guidelines are and how you're attempting to keep people safe.
Okay, thank you again, Mondre. Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it. Well, I didn't make the decision myself. For a while, we was on hold. We didn't know what we was going to do. I honestly wanted to cancel it. Swanee had to get an okay from the health officials. So they wasn't even sure if they was going to be able to have their gym open. That's why a lot of promotion didn't even take place due to the fact that we didn't even know if we was going to be able to have it. So Swanee got the okay from the health officials, which they sent them a guidelines that we must adhere by. They must adhere by being the operator of Swanee Sports Academy, the facility. So they emailed all event operators those guidelines. So at this time, I still didn't want to put it on. You got to think, I'm going from having 18 courts down to 7 courts. For me, financially, it wasn't worth it. You know what I mean? To put on an event, to take the health risk, to take all this stuff into consideration, it wasn't worth it. So what I did is I believe Atlanta is like a mob family, right? So it's certain peoples in Atlanta that, you know, you go to when it comes to basketball. And so I just started making phone calls. I called, you know, Ryan Faulkner, Dez, Julio. I called everybody and I say, listen, man, like, I really don't want to do it. You know what I mean? Like, do you think I should? Because I just respect everybody's opinion. At this time, everybody was 100% on board on plan. I think it had a lot to do with the mental state of kids during quarantine. And I also think it had to do a lot with, I don't know if y'all know T-Sean Hightower, but he played for me, right? Mm-hmm. So T-Sean Hightower played for me, obviously made a huge mistake here shortly. But I think a lot of that had to do with COVID. If you take away COVID, I don't think he's in that situation. I don't know what you guys went through during COVID, but I know for me personally, I had to ride to the gas station sometimes. Like I had to literally like just ride around sight-seeking just to get, you know what I mean, just to get some type of mental clarity, right? Because it was just so much in a short period of time. So I know the mental impact that it can have on kids itself. But at the same time, so I had to take all this in consideration. Financially, I'm taking a huge hit, but I wanted to give the kids an outlet as well. So I made a decision to do it. But how could we do this effectively and really take safety in as a priority, right? So this is the guidelines I came up with. First of all, I just left a meeting with my staff. And so, Huff, you know me, right? So when I coached, I was an A, B, C, D, E, F, G guy, right? We ran plays. We had like 45 plays, Huff. And I mean, they was like signs, you know what I mean? So I'm very structured. So I just left a meeting with my staff and I prepped them on what to do, how to do it. I'm not just going about just doing the event just to do the event. I want just like everything else. And when I played basketball and Huff, I know when you coach, my coach always told me visualize. You know, we had to sit there with the lights off, and it was like had to visualize ourselves making shots. And I thought this was a perfect example of that and how we sit down and actually visualize how it would go. We know how Swanee set up. We went up there to visit Swanee. How are we going to incorporate all these things? So temperature checks. So I got 2 temperature checks, things that you don't have to put on people's forehead, but you can keep it away like 12 inches away, and you still can get the reading. We're going to have one for the players and one for the spectators. All right. So, Swanee got 4 doors right here. So the plan is to have the players come in one door and the spectators to come in another door, right? We scanning. Obviously, everybody got to have a mask. If you don't have a mask, you can't be in there. No ifs, ands, buts. And what we're going to do is we're going to have one flow. So I don't know if you know what court 7 is, but it's in the back. So normally the top game's usually on court 4 when you walk in.
Yep.
We're not doing the top games on court 4. We're doing it on court 7 because it's a door right there. So everybody that goes in got to go out that door after every game. Like it's no coming back and forth. Like, you know what I mean? Like the people going out would never pass the people that go out. Yeah. It's going to be a flow to it where when people that coming in, once that game over, you got that. Now, my staff, what I did was I went out and I sent Huff a picture of it. We bought walkie-talkies, all right? High-level walkie-talkies where we could communicate. I got one manager that's going to be on the 4-court side, one manager that's going to be on the 3-court side. So I separated so it don't have to be one person running back and forth. They whole job is to make sure when the game over, to make sure they go out that way. I hired a police officer, obviously for obvious reasons. We're not into arguing back and forth. We're about safety first. I'm not going to argue with you about your mask. I have Swanee police officer right here, and I'm not going to bargain with you. So with that, I did something that ain't never been done before. I talked about it today. On Saturday, 2:15. After that 2:15 game, we shut down the whole gym for a whole hour, and we're gonna clean. We're gonna have an intermission in between the 2:15 game and that foursome game, and we're gonna just clean the whole gym, and then resume play after that cleaning of the gym. We also gonna stream the top games. We don't want everybody running up there to see the top games. It's free, so Mondre is not $200. It's free, and you should stay home and watch it.
Some people are charging $200 for that stream, though.
You say what?
Some people are charging $200 for their stream.
I truly believe it, but
yeah, that's what we were told.
Yeah, I truly believe it, but I think it's more important my safety. Like I never stream my games because I feel like it takes away the money, right? So, but this is a different situation. We don't want you running up there. You know what I mean? If you want to be able to see it from the comfortability of your home, then go ahead and do it. And I applaud you for doing that, because if we put 2 teams that we know y'all gonna want to see, and it's no streaming, everybody gonna rush up there.
Now, Jerome, is that every game or just the top game stream?
Just the top games.
Okay.
Just the top game. Every game won't be streamed, but I think that with the top games is when Atlanta really truly try to come out. It's like we want to see this game. Yeah, we want to see these guys.
What are some of the top teams that you have coming that will be streamed that we can stream?
I don't release my list. I'm very.
I know Matthew Cleveland on it because I saw him on the edit.
I dropped these. I got when I was in the backstage. I was actually working on another one. Like I'm gonna drop them as they come out. But it's gonna be some good ones. It's gonna be some real good ones. But yeah, because even Corey Evans from Rivals said, "Man, what's your list?" I don't never release my list. Never. You'll see it when the schedule come out. But like so I'm trying to do everything that we can to make it safe. Obviously, it's no perfect science to it. And we might have a hiccup here and there, but honestly, I think I didn't want to do it. I went through the protocols of who I feel like is the voice of Atlanta. I asked those people what they wanted to do. And, ultimately I made a decision. You got to think, I'm not making a whole lot of money, so it never was money by me. But it is about the kids. You know what I mean? Like I look forward to next year. Actually, if I could have shut it down and just waited on next year, that's what I would have did. It just takes away the whole headache of just getting ready for this event. Now, what did surprise me is that it sold out so quickly, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm completely sold out. I've been sold out for about a week. So like that surprised me. So now I got a waiting list of team ready to get in. But I would say that I'm doing everything that I feel like is necessary to make this event safe. And hopefully it is. Hopefully we don't have no hangups about it. But I'm open to any question you guys may have for me as far as like preparation and stuff like that.
Jerome, here's something big. You do understand that, good or bad, everybody's going to be looking at you about what happens after your tournament. And I don't just mean AAU. You gotta be understanding that Georgia high school's looking at you. Everybody's looking at you. And I'm saying it in a good way because shoot, I want your thing to go well so we can get back in this gym, baby. I'm ready to go.
Well, I tell you this, Huff, if you know me, matter of fact, when Nike said they canceled and I got the okay that I was gonna do it, I said I'm gonna do it. I welcome the challenge. I really like that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because if I do pull it off, like so many people say, man, you could be an innovator, you can fit. And so I take on that personal challenge of like, you know what I mean? Let me try to put all the necessary steps in place where we can make it a success. Where people are saying, man, I remember Jerome did this, and he found that new way of being able to do a successful event and doing it on the multitude that he did it on. So again, I welcome the challenge. And again, it's not perfect. To be able to, with great reward come great risk. I understand that. You know what I'm saying? So I understand what situation it put me in, but I do welcome the challenge, man. And honestly, with my staff, I got to give credit to my staff because we prepared. We just had a big old meeting about it. And I told them the same thing you said, Huff. I said, look, it's on us. They watch.
Yeah.
They watch.
And what Huff said is a good point. Everybody's going to be watching you, especially if we're still trying to have these live periods and stuff like that. So my question is, when the parents and the players come in their different doors, how's it going to work with the seating? How do parents sit? Is it 6 feet? Like how does that happen?
Again, that's a facility question. Only thing that we can do as a staff is monitor and make sure. Like, okay, so I don't know if you noticed, but the 6 feet rule only comes into play when you can't have a mask. So social distancing come in when there's not a mask, when you can't control your droplets, right? So being that everybody in there gonna have a mask on and it's mandatory, we still gonna we don't want people on top of people. We definitely don't want that. Right. And we will monitor the overall attendance, meaning that when everybody leaves, we still got to counter because if you want to come back in for that next wave of game, you got to go back through that door. And so we count the overall attendance period throughout the whole facility, make sure that we don't go over. So when you go out that side door, because this door got a side door and that one got, and when you got to come back in the front, you got your band on, you can get in, but you got to go through the process again because we got to count. And so again, the 6 feet distance, the social distance come in place when you can't have a mask on. But we still want to make sure people are not on top of people.
Gotcha.
So what happens if someone fails the temperature check, and what is the threshold for that?
Well, I got the temperature check that show red and green. Like it shows the number and it shows red and green. I'm trying to make this in layman terms. Like, you can't even mess this up. If it's red, you can't come in. If it's green, So that's how we're trying to do it. Where it's, I try to make it as easy as possible. So you see red, no go.
As far as your benches and stuff, after the game, what are you guys gonna do with that? How does it?
This is the plan. This is what we talked about. So we got 2 scorekeepers that we're paying to be there. We don't let the team supply the scorekeeper. We supply them ourselves. During timeouts, they are required to wipe down the ball and disinfect the ball. After the game is over, they're required to get up from that and go wipe down the seats. Meanwhile, my manager is going to wipe down the spectators where they sit at. So that's how we're going to plan on doing it. So you got a book person and you got a clock person. The book, if they're on the left side, they go to the left and wipe down those benches. If the right side, they go down and wipe down that bench. Look, please, y'all don't be stealing all my ideas, man.
I was gonna say this is probably gonna be the cleanest bench I've ever. Because I've never
seen it at AAU. I've never seen a clean bench at AAU.
You guys are going to be cleaning the chairs and the balls and during timeouts and stuff like that or whatever. That's never happened in AAU basketball.
And I don't think it is. But again, I'm paying.
It might change. You might change the game now, though.
And it might do. But again, I'm paying these people. And I told them today, like, if y'all don't do this job, y'all not getting paid. Like, I control that. And for me, I don't care about making friends. I just care about shit being right. You know what I'm saying? So, like, do your job. Your job is to wipe down that shit after the game. It don't take that long to do it. Or don't work.
Yeah,
that's true. So, like, that's an important thing. And I even put it on my staff. I say, listen, I need you guys. And I say, I can't do this by myself. I'm only good as my staff. And, like, let's do this. Let's make this template. Let's do this template where everybody's implement these templates moving forward. And then we can say we did that.
Our players, I saw some kids yesterday playing at the camp with some masks on. Are players allowed to play with masks on?
If they want to play with masks on, they feel comfortable playing with masks on, then so be it. Obviously, you'll have to be monitored. We will have a trainer there the whole time. But obviously, they have to be monitored for breathing reason. But if they don't feel like it hinders their breathing and they can do it, then I'm not going to tell them they can't play with a mask on.
I think this is an important question. That temperatures fluctuate due to people coming in from outside being in the sun. What happens with that in regards to even with players? Because if players are coming out and they need to come back in.
Perfect question. When we talked about this today, it's a great question. One of my staff people work at a place where she even brought it up. She said, well, you have false positives, right? Where if they're in the sun or in the car for a long period of time, their temperature might be higher. So they have a little place where they put them till they cool down and then recheck them and have them just sit out there for a while and then recheck them when they come back in. But again, if it's 100, no matter what the situation is, you're not going to be able to get in. So if a person could go, like, if we think it's a false positive, they think it's a false positive, they're welcome to go back out there and relax and then get the temperature down. But if their temperature is 100, there's no way in the world that we're going to be able to let that person in that gym. Also, we talked about if a person get caught sneaking in, they are even not allowed to pay to get in. Yeah. So you can't even pay because you're not adhering to what we consider being safe. So we don't even want your money because safety is, for us, safety is the most important thing.
Yeah.
So a couple of questions for me. What I look at or what I think about immediately, and is when I hear people say, "Oh man, young people, really aren't getting this right." It's not the young people that I'm concerned about. It's the parents that have to be involved to get the young people to be able to do this, because and I just for numbers' sake. Right. I think the numbers are that from 0 to 17, the cases are only like 84,511. Right. But 18 to 44, it's over 700,000 cases. 45 to 64. It's over 500, almost 600,000 cases. So I'm glad that you guys are wiping off the fan area, because initially I thought it was just the benches. But I think those are the people who are at the highest risk for this type of event. Is that, did you consider doing it without any fans at all?
I did before I talked to everybody, right? So this was my original plan. And again, we have a family in Atlanta, so we talk about these things. So my original plans were this: every player roster get 2 people. So I wanted coaches to send in their rosters, and for every person, they get 2 people, 2 spectators to come in with that person. But then I got some clap back on, well, some people are going to have 4 people in a family. They're going to have, granddad probably want to see them, and they might have that. So I didn't do that. But we will monitor the overall attendance. But I did consider doing it, to answer your question, I did consider doing it with no fans. But the whole thing was this: people are doing whatever they want to do right now. And from rioting to protesting to going out to eat, we just had our meeting at Frontera and we had it outside. I mean, people are doing that. So I'm not going to tell you not to come, but I'm going to put the necessary stuff in place for you to watch it at home. I'm going to do the necessary stuff that I can do where you don't have to come up there. And if you don't have to, then don't. But if you want to watch and play, then I think that's an option too. Like, the great thing about, doing this is that it's not forcible. Like, we can't force nobody to do this. We can't force nobody to come up there and watch games. If you want to come up there and watch games, I guarantee it'd be the safest place you can watch one. Because we will have people walking around monitoring, making sure people got their mask on, making sure people doing what they're supposed to do. But I don't want to stop people from doing it. And if we're taking the necessary precaution with temperature checks and masks, I feel like it's going to be pretty safe.
Yeah.
Was there any thought in postponing the date to see what happens with the NBA? Was that a part of the thought process at all? Or if the NCAA would actually lift the dead period and know that we would for sure have live periods to follow?
No, I did see you say that yesterday. And here's my thing, right? So the difference between the NBA and the NCAA and the Tip-Off Classic is 100,000 people. Okay, so when they're making those type of decisions, they're making decisions for 100,000 people. I'm making my decision for maybe 200 over the course of 3 days. So, like, I'm not comparing myself to somebody who's gonna bring in 200,000-300,000 people by doing games. You know what I mean? Like, so we just, only thing we can do is just make it safe for our patrons and like do the best we can to make it safe for those minimal people compared to what the NCAA and the NBA do. However, the NBA decided to continue their season in July, which maybe is a couple weeks after mine, right? So it's not a big difference, and they're gonna have more people than I had. So no, I didn't consider theirs at all. I talked to the people that I need to talk to. I got approval from the health officials, and so did Swanee. If the health official come around next week and say we can't do it, we can't do it. It's based off the overall health officials. If they say that we can successfully run an event and be safe and take the necessary precautions, then they're giving me the green light to go. I didn't want to go. It just, I mean, think about it. I can wait and do it next year and sell out 18, 19 courts.
Right.
I mean, easy, right? And people are calling me, you know what I'm saying? And they like, I can show you a wait list of about 100 teams. And I can't even open another facility. You know why? Because I don't want to put that on my staff. Like, I want people to be safe. I can take that money easily and go get another gym and just throw them people in there. But I don't want to do that because I don't think it'll be safe. I want all my staff who ran 18 courts at one facility to make sure this thing run perfect.
Got a question from the live chat. about hand washing? Is it required for everybody to wash their hands before entry?
Yeah. So when you come in, it'll be a tub full of hand sanitizer. So everybody come in, have to do the hand sanitizer before they go in. And Swanee has it set up where when you go in, it's just right there. Like you can't even go anywhere. Like you got to go past the hand sanitizer to even get in. So yeah.
Got you. One of the questions that I've been asking people is around the numbers from other states. Originally, when I saw tournaments popping up, I felt like, okay, we're just gonna Georgia had, we decided to open, so we're going to allow teams from Georgia to rock out and see what it is. And then I'm hearing, nope, teams from out of town. Are you monitoring the numbers from states out of town to see where those teams are coming from and what those numbers look like?
Of course. Honestly, and I'm glad you brought that. That was a great question, by the way, Mondre. But I woke up like maybe 2 days ago, right? And then I got a text on my phone, and it's from a concerning person. It said the numbers in Alabama and Florida are picking up. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's safe for Georgia team to have to play against these teams, right? And again, it sounds kind of weird. I won't kind of sound racist, right? It's like, I don't want my kids playing against these kids. But no, I mean, I thought the point was very valid. And my response was, it's 3 weeks. And we know with COVID, 3 weeks is a long time. 1 week is a long time. It's so much stuff that happens in 3 weeks. But I will continue to monitor the situation. And if something to the point where the number just not going down and keep spiking, then I'm gonna have to limit those teams. And we don't have a whole lot, but I would limit those teams from even participating due to Georgia is pretty much safe at this point. But a lot can change in a week. But I continue to monitor the situation to see how it goes.
That was my concern too about out of town teams. I know how much talent comes from Florida that traditionally participates in these events.
Right.
Their numbers are up. North Carolina's numbers are up. And you mentioned Alabama's numbers are up. Those are states that really rock with us when it comes to Georgia basketball.
Right.
So I was concerned about that as well.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a line in the sand, or is it just based on kind of feel for what those states numbers are doing?
Well, it's about flattening, right? So every day they report numbers, right? So if you see a constant jump in numbers, then obviously that state is not as safe as it should be. Not when you're talking about participating. Now, our state might stay the same, but like their state might not. I had teams reach out to me from New York.
Yeah.
And I'm on record saying this right now, and this is public, but we're sold out. You know what I mean? Like that's my response, because the safety and well-being of you got to think this coming back on me. You know what I mean? Like everything that transpires coming back on me is my reputation, is my face, it's everything that coming back on me. So when I'm making these decisions, I got to honestly make a decision, and there's nothing against those people, but it is about making this event as safe as possible. So if it came to it, I monitor the number based off day. And right now I don't even look at it because again, 3 weeks is a long time. But as we get closer, I will look over the overall numbers and see where they at. If they didn't start to come down, if they still trending up, then I wouldn't let them play. And we don't have a whole lot, but again, I got 86 teams, and I can't say that a lot of them are from Florida or Alabama or North Carolina.
Was it ever any discussion about having? I don't know how it would work, but was it any discussion about having teams take the test, take the COVID test?
Oh no, not at all. Again, if I have to do that, I'd rather not run the event. If I got to sit there and test.
No, I'm saying before. No, not you. I'm saying before.
No, it's too much to do. Like if I have to do that, I'd rather wait. You know what I mean? Like if it's just too much, we just focus on things that we can do to provide a safe environment for our players, our student athletes, our staff, parents, and coaches. So what we can do right here to make that safe. Now I can't tell you go to your local Walmart and get a test. You know what I mean? Like I don't feel like that's my place, but I can try to make this spot as safe as possible.
Got you. That's my questions, man. I think your event, when you drop the flyer for your event, just to show you how my kids and my parents feel about it, immediately I was flooded with text messages. So your event, as I said on our show Thursday, was one of the events between your event, Sean's live period event, and our Daytona trip. Those were our 3 best tournaments that we played in all last year.
Thank you.
So it's very important for the community. But for me personally as a coach, and I had to talk to my players again yesterday, that I just wouldn't know what to do with myself if I brought my kids out and somebody was infected at that point. Like,
let me ask you this. So what would you do yourself if you go to Walmart and get it? And then bring it back to one of your kids doing practice or something.
I'm
like,
sick.
Here's the thing.
Sick.
I know, but what I'm saying is Walmart is not requiring everybody to wear masks. I'm gonna tell you something. When I go to Home Depot and everybody go have a mask, I feel good walking by people because I know they're controlling their droplets, right? So I know they're controlling their droplets. But if I
feel good because I know they're at least trying.
Right, and they're at least trying. It's like I seen something. It's like they had a illustration where somebody was peeing without pants on or drawers on, right? And the pee went straight, but when they had drawers on, it went down. It was like the illustration. It was like
I saw that illustration. I know exactly what you're talking about.
It was like that's what a mask does. It doesn't make it. It's not necessarily protecting stuff from coming in, but it protecting stuff from going out. So I say that to say, you know, you can get it from anywhere. Gas station. You know how many people test the pump and put it in there? Like you can get it from anywhere. And the gas station is not putting hand sanitizer by the pump. They're not putting drugs by the pump. They're not doing nothing. But what we're doing at the Tip Off Classic is providing you with masks if you need it. We wiping everything down as we go. It's probably the safest place you'll go, Mondre. I don't want to make you feel bad by not being in it, but hey, it's safe.
You got any spots left?
No, we sold out.
Man, he said you got to get on the waiting list, right?
Huh?
Right. You can put me on the waiting list. Really, honestly, I'm really okay with just playing a game or two. I don't got to play the whole time.
What grade are you?
17.
Yeah, I got a couple people that want to do that too. So if I can find a couple spots again, what not really messing me up, but what really making things go back is the hour that I'm putting in to clean down the facility. So it but we're still ending based off I put everything in. Based off that, we're still ending at 1 o'clock on Sunday. Because we're doing bracket play that if you win, go to the right. If you lose, go to the left, and you might have 3 games. So that's the limit, the amount of games that's being played. Because obviously, pool play, you pay those 3 games, and then you go to bracket play. So we're just trying to limit the amount of games.
I like that for older kids. I like that anywhere. Yeah.
But here's the thing, and people got to really take this into consideration. And I don't think we do. Media controls everything. We hear about every single death from COVID. Honestly, if we heard about every car crash that led to a death, y'all wouldn't ever drive. I'm going to say that again. If we heard about every death that occurred to a car crash, every death, y'all wouldn't drive your car. You'll be afraid to drive. Because you'll be like, the numbers is amazing. It's just, when you drive, you just die. So, it's like from every case, we hear it every case. So we got to take that into consideration. Now, that's not going out there and being stupid and just put your hand in your mouth. Yeah, it's just still taking the necessary precaution. But I really, truly understand that, these things are being reported at a high number, like they're being reported. So again, based off 300 million people in the U.S., I mean, to each his own, but only thing that we can do is try to make the facility as safe as possible. If Brian Kemp came out tomorrow and said close everything down, I wouldn't be like, damn. I'd be like, okay, let's do that. And I refund everybody full refund minus $20 the processing fee. Now I want you like the other event operators that ain't giving these people that money back. Now let's talk about that.
That's facts. That's
Let's
happening.
talk about that.
No, that's happening. And
I know.
I know a big event, and we might be talking about the same person, but I know a big event that is not giving refunds.
Not giving refunds.
A huge event that's not giving refunds.
Where they play at?
Huh?
Where they play?
We ain't even gonna say that. Don't say that, Mondre. but no, he's right. But you gotta
make the rules.
You gotta think about this. These people get money from their parents. You know what I mean? And you give this money to somebody you're supposed to check. The reason why Tip out do so well, and Huff know this, I'm a man of my word.
Yeah.
Even when things didn't go right of the loop, the man didn't even bring all the people. Then you get yours. I made it because I gave you my word, right? And so, like, at the end of the day, that's what it's about. And my business will continue to grow if I continue to treat people the way they should be treated. And like, when you give me your money and it don't go down, you getting it back.
And truth be told, the reason why, even though we may disagree on this specific issue, but the reason why you're here is because of the respect that I have for the event itself.
Thank you.
You and Sean are the only tournament directors that have ever been on this show.
Thank you.
So I think that's important. But to show that, to me, I felt like it was important to get the information out there. And like I told Huff, I said, I feel like it's our responsibility to put information out and allow people to make their own decision.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's important that everybody makes a decision based off of solid information.
Yeah.
Not based off of what they heard or what somebody so-and-so told them, right? Is get it from the horse's mouth, get the information, and then make your decision based off of that.
And I think that's great, Mondre. And again, I appreciate you guys for having me on. But anybody can speculate, but to actually hear what take place and how we really taking this thing serious to the point where we're preparing, like we're meeting before the events and we're looking at different ways to implement so many different things that you know that we taking it serious. Now, I will say this, not a lot of people are doing that. Not a lot of people are doing that. Not a lot of people are meeting before, talking about how to make it safe. They just take the money and go. So again, man, like only thing, if I made $1 and came out, made $1, I'd be happy, man, if it goes down without a hitch. I'm gonna be honest with you, because I know, like, it's not about, when it come down to business, it's not about right now. It's about 5 years from now. So if I took a hit right now, but my face card good, my business etiquette is good, doing everything, making everybody feel safe, then I know 5 years from now, those same people gonna mess with me. I know that. But if I don't do what I'm supposed to do, it's crazy.
Hey, we may not be in it this year, and that's a good point, because Georgia Man Up may not be in it this year. But next year, God willing, we in a better position with this thing, and I'll have every team there. Every team that I got.
I appreciate that. I just say, Dre, you got to get there early now. You know how they.
And I know how your registration do. And you drop that flyer, and then I feel like it's a race to the phone to make that phone.
If y'all think it's a race to registration, Jerome is hitting. He used to be hitting up schools a year early. Hey, I need that. Here's a date. I need it. Tell me what you got.
It done got to the point, where I ain't even got to reach out to the school. They reach out to me.
Are you doing it again? Are you doing it?
Right, because I take care of y'all. So what I do for the schools, and again, I employ a lot of event operators. Take care of your schools, bro. You know what I mean? I let your school people work, and I pay your school people to work to get that, and I take care of them. So not only I take care of the gym, I take care of you and the people that work. So I think that's important, man. Like, some people might see it as me being money home. I'm the farthest thing from being money home. I just run my business a certain way, and I feel like I should take care of people. That way, if I say I'm charging $20 at the door, it's worth it, because I'm gonna put all my money. What different than me? If you come to if you come to my event, you know I put money back into it. And the downside to a lot of black people that do this stuff is that they say they don't put money back into it. They just run events. I want to give you guys a great experience. You know what I mean? I wanted to make it feel like an event and not just a tournament, but it's a big event. It's an event, quality event. So I put a lot into it. But you know what I mean? I pride myself off of that.
For any director that wants to understand how we get into indie hoops, is that I call Jerome first while I'm typing in our registration to let him know that our registration is coming. Hey, register, big dog. Hey, I'm filling it out, man. Hey, don't let me get in. Because the time that it takes you to fill out that registration form, it may be 50 spots gone before that.
Hey, man, look, what's crazy the other day, right? So a guy said, man, look, I'm gonna call back. I'm gonna register this weekend. He called back Monday, bro. I can't do nothing. We sold out. I just can't. And he's like, sold out already? I'm like, yeah. And man, it happens every year. This is why I do an early bird registration. Is because if you get in there early, you get to save $100 first of all. And then I know how it's going to be later on. So if you want to secure this spot early and save $100, you can do that. But yeah, man, Mondre, I really appreciate this platform to be able to get these people the information, because the most important thing is one thing to say you're doing an event and trying to make it safe. And it's another thing when you can really articulate what's going to take place and how it's going to take place.
No doubt. Hopefully people are listening. I don't want people to steal all the secret sauce, but man.
Man, look, I'm talking about it, man. They've been writing down. I was kind of reluctant to do it. They writing down.
Hey, for the sake of our health, man, I hope they were. Right. We got to do what's best for the kids.
But do me a favor. Either you, Dre, Huff, or Bryce, one of y'all come up there and just see how everything's going. Because I think it'll be good for you to try to see it in place. And how we're doing, man. And I really want your honest opinion on how we're doing and how it feels. You know what I'm saying? And that'll be on me. Nobody have to pay. Y'all won't have to pay to get in. But I appreciate the platform to be able to give the people this information. But I also want y'all critiques on it too, on what we could have did better, and how it's going.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be there.
Last question. I'll let either you or Huff answer this, Jerome. Do we think that GHSA is watching this event and that will base its decision on whether or not that after the dead period, the high school dead period, that everything for GSA will crank back up?
I think part of it.
Because the high school dead period ends right after your event, right?
The high school dead period is like the 28th through July 4th, something like that.
Through July 4th, yep.
I think they watching, but again, here's the thing. Like, the thing with COVID is it stays suppressed for 14 days sometimes. And so you never know where you got it from, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what are they monitoring?
Yep.
It's like, what are they monitoring? It's like this. Only thing that you can do, and here's the thing, and somebody call me and say, well, you don't want to get sued by nobody. I say, listen, you can't sue somebody who's taking all the necessary steps. You only can sue somebody for negligence, right? So if I'm not providing masks, if I'm not making you do hand sanitizer, if I'm not give one way in and one way out, you could say he was negligent in this, right? That's the law. But if I'm providing every safety precaution that's possible, even if you came down with it, you can't sue because I did my job. It was up to you on whether you went to Walmart or not. You chose to go to Walmart. Did Walmart have the 6 feet standing? Yes, they did. It's okay. You know what I mean? So you got to take that in consideration. Like, we're doing everything that we can do, but you don't know where you got it from. And it's going to be hard to prove that you got it from this place, or that place, because it stays submerged for so long. Only thing I can tell you is this: we'll be safer than Walmart. We'll be safer than Home Depot.
When I walk in Walmart, it's in the air.
Yeah, it's on the floor. It's everywhere. But I can guarantee you this: if you see a picture from Tip-Off Classic, they're gonna have a mask on. You know what I mean? Like, that's either that or they shortly got kicked out after they didn't have it on. But and I'm not bargaining with people. I'm not negotiating. That's just the facts, man. So we're gonna try to make it safe as possible and keep people droplets with themselves.
Somebody had a question right there.
No. They're asking what state we're in. We're in the state of Georgia. Go on there and shout them out, Jerome. Let them know where they can find information about your event.
The Tip-Off Classic, you can follow it at The Tip-Off Classic on Instagram and on Twitter. Also, you can go to the tipoutclassic.com, but it's in Atlanta, Georgia. And then I also just dropped a video about last year's event on Instagram and also on Twitter. So you can check that out. But it's in Georgia, to answer your question. But if you're coming from one of those high states, we're gonna have to give you an evaluation first. We gotta ask you some questions. have you been out of the country?
That's real though. That's
don't
real.
feel like confident Jim.
But Dre, man, again, I appreciate the opportunity. Appreciate the opportunity, man. Oh, New York. Oh no, I told you.
Hey, I'm so hurt, and I get it. I'm so hurt that the Dykeman, because I was trying to go up there and watch some Dykeman basketball. I was trying to go outside, man, watch the hoops outside. I went to New York last summer for the Geico too, and that should be crazy, man.
No, man, but New York, that hotbed, man. It's everything's still reluctant about that, man. Yeah. So again, man, appreciate your help, man. I always love, man. Bryce. Getting to know Bryce, man. I appreciate Bryce. Bryce like to cuss me out one day, man. I'm like, man, come on, man.
I cuss everybody out sometimes, bro.
Hey, low key, Bryce a firehead, man. Low key. Bryce kind of firehead, low key. I done heard him talk to his team. So
for real.
I just be one to just to chill sometimes, man. I just want to walk in the gym and do my job and go home. And sometimes, man, parent might be on my nerves, or kid might be. I had to go pick somebody up. So I probably was thinking about something else at the time. You know what I mean?
Speaking of Double Trouble, I just seen them come up.
Double Trouble wants one smoke.
I know, right? But
they calling you out, Bryce.
They calling me out. Double Trouble ain't got no alumni list. So how about that?
Right. I didn't expect, man.
I'm just kidding.
I was on the phone, and I'm like, this event gonna be exciting because I know the people that is playing, and I just didn't expect it to be like, you know what I mean. I expected it to be a down year, and for the most part, Nike telling their teams not to play at all. But I still might be able to pull some out. You know what I mean?
Real though, if you got a game or two, you want somebody to come pull up, shit, I pull up. I bring about 8 or 9 up there.
I think that's the thing that people miss, man. People think that people don't want to play. Man, everybody wants basketball to happen.
Yeah.
Everybody wants basketball to happen. It's the when, it's the how.
Yeah.
That everybody wants basketball.
I hear people say it all the time. Everybody want to reopen, but it's how you reopen, right? So it's how you reopen. And the only thing I can tell you is like safety first. You know what I mean? If you put safety first over the money, then you're gonna be all right. If you put the money over safety, you're gonna mess it up every time. You know what I mean? Hence why I only have one location with all my workers in one location. You know what I mean? I can easily go into a church and be like, look, let me get this, let me get that, let me add teams. As you can see, I don't have no trouble adding teams, but it won't be safe because my staff have to be spread out. It just wouldn't be safe.
No doubt. We definitely gonna be watching, man. We'll stay close eye on it, man. Hopefully watching the numbers. Hopefully Georgia numbers go down, man. We don't want this to pop up in our state the way.
Now, let me ask you about this because I sent it to Huff too, man. I really want to know that because this is the question here, man. All right, is it okay? And you gotta be Dre. You gotta really think about that. Don't answer 2 questions because you know what I mean. You'll be fired. They'll fire you on Twitter. Is it okay for all those people to be downtown protesting and the numbers that they are protesting with versus being at an AAU where it's more monitored and like safe?
Dre,
it's the why. It's and I talk about this all the time.
COVID can care about the why. COVID don't look at why.
No, COVID doesn't. It doesn't care about the why at all. So, but what I'm saying is, everything is about risk, right? When I talk to my clients every day, it's about risk tolerance, and the why comes into play when you start talking about risk. If you're going to take a chance, what are you taking a chance for?
Right.
And unfortunately, for us, people are risking their lives every day to go protest. because what they're marching for, the risk is worth the possible reward.
Right.
So,
you got players like T-Shawn Hightower. You got players like that are mentally breaking down over this. You know what I mean? To be able to play every day, not being able to go where they wanted to go. The whole world was shut down. You can't go nowhere. And I think the mental health is very important as well. Because if we don't take care of the mental health of these people, then they can break down easily. But I'll say this. If you say risk, and risk is a big word to me, but if you got 10 people, 11 people with a mask on, what is the risk versus
I see your point.
5 people without one?
I mean, the people who are protesting should still be wearing masks as well.
Right.
So, and there's nobody monitoring that, but they should be.
Right.
And you're telling us that you are strictly monitoring that.
Right.
So I get your point.
Yeah. So I think
I do understand Mondre's what he's saying is the why, but I
totally get that too, Mondre. I think that people are fighting for a cause, and I'd rather die than to continue living this way type attitude, right? Yeah. Like, I would rather die than to continue living this way, And so I totally get that. But I also think that our kids' mental health is in state right here. I truly believe that because it happened to me. Like, I had to leave the house, Mondre. Like, I had to leave the Joker, man. I'm like, I gotta go. I gotta ride. And I drove in a big circle. I drove way down here, went down by Stone Mountain, and rolled all the way back just to get out the house.
I agree with you about the Hightower kid. To me, there's no denying that. I think that without COVID, he is at school. He's not in that situation at all.
Stuff like that.
It's unfortunate that he was in that position and put in that situation.
Let me ask you this too, Nan. So without COVID, would these people be as angry and pent up anguish and this picked up angry as they are? Like, part of the reason I have a police officer is because I know people still got that pent up. I know people still got that pent up anger for being in the house for so long.
And being made to wear a mask is almost a political statement for some people now. When it's not like COVID doesn't have a political party.
Right.
Like you said, it doesn't care about your cause.
Right.
Nothing. Right. If it has a chance to infect you, it will. Right. It doesn't care about any of that. So no, I agree. I think making people wear a mask, because I think some people don't wear a mask as a point of pride, like they have a point to prove, which I think that's wrong as well. So
I think so when and if y'all Hightower, y'all got it.
The Hightower situation, it's an unfortunate incident with a kid, man. I don't want to drug that man's business out.
Right. And again, it's all speculation. So make sure you say it's all speculation.
Tulane basketball player that got caught up in something allegedly, and it's unfortunate. Nothing good came of it. You can Google it.
I don't
want to be rude. I just don't want to put that man's business out.
And I think you're doing it the right way. I think that's the right way to handle it. But I will say to Mondre, like, I know some people just feel like, man, listen, if I have to take a chance, and the people that know me know, like, I treat my personal life and my business like totally separate, right? I don't devalue my business when it comes to my business. I won't devalue my business. I won't. And I become an asshole. You know what I mean? And so, but when you get to know me personally, it's like, man, he's pretty cool. But business-wise, I get it. I'm an asshole. So if you don't wear your mask, your ass will be kicked out. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
You know what I mean? Like because that's just the situation. And then after that, you can call me on the phone and I'll be your best friend. But like when it comes down to that business side of it, I don't negotiate. You know what I mean? So again, man, I don't want to hold you guys up, but I really appreciate this platform. Bryce, appreciate you, man.
I'm gonna pull up.
Yeah, and I got you. So I should be at the front, Bryce. But if I'm not, we're gonna have walkie-talkies per COVID. You know what I'm saying, Dre? Per COVID. So just they'll hit me up and I'll come to the front and let you in.
All good.
Y'all be like the CIA, man. Y'all go.
We got look, Dre.
Hey, listen. Being that you got this love of the game exclusive though, I need the VIP seats, man. I like the Gucci row, man. I'm not gonna be honest. Like I gotta sit behind. If not Cleveland playing, I gotta be on the baseline next to Slam Magazine or whoever gonna be recording.
Are you gonna be recording?
No, I'm saying I gotta be next to them. That's where I like to sit.
In the middle, you come and have access. You gotta have at least 2,000 followers, man. Like, you know what I mean? You gotta
that's how y'all judge that off of.
Hey man, I can't even get my secrets out. Like, seriously, man, because like I know people be seeing posts, but it's a reason. You know what I mean? Like it's a reason. Like I leverage a lot of stuff. So like
he said tiny.
yeah, he said tiny. Now we need that dub from
Yeah, 20. It's all good. Hey, I want to make sure we address this though. For the young person or person who may be tweeting or tweeting to us on the show about media companies having access. Young fella, I've been doing this podcast, which I don't know if I'm talking to a guy or not, but I've been doing this podcast for 3 years. The first time I covered Jerome's event for my podcast, I paid to get in every day. So that's look, if you want to be where the action is,
gotta pay.
You have to drop that dub and start your business.
And we are celebrating small black businesses, black business, black owned, all that. We supporting our people. We don't want no discounts. We want to pay the full price. We're trying to get in. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
And that's not has nothing to do with him.
And I never complained about it too, but I just want to make sure I say that.
Seriously, like when you say that, Brian,
no disrespect to him, no disrespect.
You know, I want to say this, and I actually wrote it down because I think that people don't get it. Like it's like
he said, "I'm 47." My bad.
Hey, but people don't get it, man. Like the Bigfoots, the big shots, they're doing something in July as well. Now they're doing it after my event, but they got a slew of events coming up. And you know what? People don't say nothing about the event. Like people don't say like, I wonder what they're doing. Like I have not seen the safety guidelines from them. I haven't not heard from them. I haven't not, you know what I mean? It's nothing. But like when it comes to the brother, it's a little different. Like it's just a little different. It's like, and it's almost like we're kind of traumatized or something where we can't say.
We're under a microscope. Under a microscope at all times.
Yeah. I can say for me that I only talk about your events and Sean events because those are the only ones I plan on going to.
No, I wasn't talking about you. I'm talking about like as far as like people like, okay, I'm gonna give you an example. I'm gonna give you
scrutiny about the event.
Yeah, we're not saying nobody's name. So like my boy Damian Key, he put out something that he was gonna do the NYBL, but he didn't put no date out there. He said, well, you know, we're gonna continue the NYBL, right? Couple people went on Twitter and backlashed him. Kind of, you know, backlashed him about it. Like, oh, really? Like, no, don't do that. You know what I mean? Like, bro, like, called him and you know him too. So why don't you just call him and talk to him about the situation? And that what made me say it because it was like, do you know? I'm gonna say these people name May Hoops ain't giving no money back. Go to May Hoops.
And May Hoops ain't, and that ain't cheap.
They ain't getting no money back.
That's
how many times you heard about that? You'll hear about the Birmingham guy.
Because is Made Hoops is really
that's a fact. That's the fact. I heard about Birmingham, but I didn't even hear about May Hoops at all.
May Hoops got a whole statement, Dre. They got a whole statement.
What Birmingham meant?
Man, we ain't gonna put our guy there like that.
Hey, but, if that's true, that's crazy.
It said something, and he put it no refund due to pandemic, a godly thing. Like he went all this stuff, man. Like, and the thing is that if it were one of us, You know, so, man. And I'm telling you, like, it's just bad, bro. Like, it's bad when we do that. You know what I mean? And then the same people do that, and it's like we'll tear our down. But like with him, he doing it. He did it, and we won't say nothing about him. But he should give them folk their money back. Period.
Definitely a different standard for sure. Yeah.
He should give folk their money back, man. Like these folk work hard for their money. If you can't provide the service that you need to provide, you need to give these people their money back. Period. So
I think that's the perfect note to end the show right there.
Right.
Hey, that's real talk. That's as real as it gets for sure.
But Dre, I really appreciate what you guys are doing, man. Y'all really giving it to the people, letting them know about all different situations. I seen one show with Sean on it. They was talking about the independents versus the shoe company, everything, man. So Dre, you keep this up. Obviously, if you've been doing this for 3 years, you came a long way. Just keep it going. Something gonna really pop, bro. Just keep it going.
No doubt, man. We're gonna try to do what we do.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
Hey, appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. They put May Hoops out there on the. They got the statement for anybody that wants to go. Hey man, our audience works quick. They don't waste no time.
Hey,
the internet. Woo-wee.
But man, appreciate you, man.
All right, man.
All right. That's interesting.
I didn't know anything about that. I actually played the May Hoops event that year. I had Matthew Cleveland and Madison, Ron Otto, Camden Blunt. We played in May Hoops. It is a good event.
They're dropping the statement. Go get them, coach. Hey, Tay dropping a statement. We are.
Hey, I need to turn my camera off while y'all doing these statements. Hold up. Okay. Somebody want to offer me, and I'm just tripping. I'm kidding.
We are unable to offer refunds for purchases / deposits for May Hoops events, including but not limited to tournaments, events, camps, circuits, etc. Collectively, event unless cancellation insurance was purchased through May Hoops.
Cancellation insurance.
Wow. So unless you purchase cancellation insurance, so unless they still got paid, then can't.
Who purchases insurance for tournaments?
That's insane, bro.
I've never heard of that.
Damn. But one of the hard lessons I learned running the AAU program was never pay for all your tournaments up front.
We paying them things a week before the date, my guy.
Week before the day, as you go, because people are,
right before they set out, we jumping into that.
But people also knock our show because of, oh man, y'all always show Sean's events and you always show Corey Black or Chris Watkins, or well, we rock with people who have a reputation for doing good business. Like, can't sign off on everywhere, man. Like,
that's wild. I didn't even know about that. I didn't even know really about either of these situations, to be honest.
It's happening. So
I mean, I don't pay attention to that grade level as much as I used to. So that's wild.
But that's our show, man. Well, I appreciate everybody for rocking with us, man. 2.5 hours, man, and we still going strong. So I appreciate everybody rocking with us. I love you guys. I do want to show one thing for Coach Huff before we go. Coach Huff is organizing. He had to drop off to jump on a conference call, but he is organizing a march and a rally. So please join us June 17th. I will be there, mask on, probably gloves on, fully hand sanitized up. But join the Coaches of Change movement and rally at June 17th at the state capitol at 1 p.m. As Coach said, we will not just shut up and dribble. So I wanted to make sure that I shout out Coach Huff and Coach Williams that are running this together. So I'll post this on my Twitter and Instagram timelines as well. So does that affect y'all when y'all pay a week before? I mean, it's not a really impacting us. It's just, to me, paying the week before is because for me, I protect my parents' money like it's mine. So I want to make sure that I'm going to the event. I want to make sure that the event operator is doing everything that they're supposed to do, that they actually have enough teams in the event. I want to make sure that everything is right before I allow anybody to touch my parents.
For the last 3 years, I've only played in the same events. So
you start to limit yourself in what events that you play in when you have a certain amount of problems, man. So we only rock with people that do good business. So
I'm not in that traveling no more.
Yeah. But man, grace, love, and peace, man. We be on break until Thursday. We'll see you guys Thursday night at 8 p.m., man. That's the Love of the Game podcast. We out.
Peace.